You know, it's pretty easy, like what, episode 27? 27th time through again, you know?
I was gonna say, wow, you actually nailed it perfectly with all the things.
It's pretty easy.
And
it's
beating
just,
us up, Scotty.
it's change scene, hit record, hit bumper music, slide, and mic. Do you think you guys could do that without me here?
No. I wouldn't. I already forgot the stats
Yeah,
in order.
we just have to watch. Oh, we can't even watch it because this is not recording.
Wait, what do you mean? What?
We
Yeah,
can't
it is.
watch him do it on the record, like when he
Oh.
the
Oh
sequence.
yeah, no, because it's showing the
Yeah.
bumper when you're doing it.
The
Yeah.
little 2-minute countdown bumper.
So we have to
thing.
remember it. That's
Well,
gonna be interesting.
it took me a while to get it down, so.
That's gonna be an interesting show. You guys should tune in for that one. It's gonna be really boring and or maybe really hilarious, depending on.
Well, so that's the decision I have to decide, right? I'm going on vacation in a couple weeks. It's
Yeah.
like, should you guys carry the show without me while I'm gone, or?
Well, yeah.
Well, I've been debating giving you guys full access to live stream on my channel.
Oh,
is
you're
scary.
right. You're right. You're right.
Okay?
Never mind. You're right. I didn't think about that. I was just like, oh, it's just the RTFM channel. Oh wait, no, it's
No, it's not the
No.
RTFM
It's not
channel.
the
In an
RTFM
ideal world, that would be the case, but we would have like 12 viewers if it
Yeah.
was on its own channel.
Yeah.
But no, I've realistically been thinking about December is just going to be a hiatus month for streams. Period.
Yeah,
Both
'cause we're gonna be
RTFM
so
show and
busy.
Twitch. Yes. Speaking of RTFM show, welcome. We're here. We weren't here last week because we were tired.
No, but for real. For
real.
yeah,
real.
we were dead.
This would have been the show. So
I would've been
Like,
like
what's
this,
your
like,
topic?
we're like, Nick, how do you feel about that? And he's like,
Yeah. So Phil, what's your topic? Why do parts manufacturers launch everything simultaneously? We had like 4 in a row this
no,
time.
rarely
right?
they rarely launch everything simultaneously. It's just
Yeah.
the problem is every manufacturer launches. They have like a staggered launch.
Yeah.
But then when all 4 major brands or 4 major products from the 3 major brands have staggered launches that fill in all the gaps, it feels like a nonstop gauntlet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the last time it was this like lined up with each other was the
5000 series.
5700 XT and the AMD 5000 series and the something else. Oh, the 20 Supers.
Oh yeah, because you know
Yeah.
if AMD's on
And you
a-
were also on vacation that time because I remember, but you really had to trust me because you were on the boat and you literally had no.
I have to
service.
trust you this time too because you're going to be handling the 7000 series AMD stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and
you
I
guys-
will be watching because I'm going to be like, oh, I want to see it.
Yeah, you guys are gonna get an actual full-on Phil's 2 cents video. I mean, I'm gonna be in touch with you
Yeah.
with the results and
The
stuff, so
difference
you
with the
can-
previous vacations when I was like out of the country,
Yeah.
and was not able to be reached because I was literally like on a beach with a freaking
my time.
yeah, whatever beachy drink it
with
is,
the umbrella.
yeah. Sitting there thinking like, oh, life's good. And you're over here like, they won't stop changing BIOS on me right before lunch.
Come back to me. Yeah, me and Mark trying to put out all the fires. It's like, wait, what happened? Well, Phil tried testing 3 things simultaneously.
Oh man,
I had 3 test benches running that launch at the same time. It was intense. It was pretty nuts. But yeah, this one's not as bad because you've been here for 3
it'll
out
be
of 4.
it'll be 2 graphics cards if they launch them both at the exact same time. They're available the same day, so I'm going to assume that we'll be getting them at December 13th, I believe is the launch day for them. But
Yeah, I'm not even worried about the benchmarks and stuff. I'm just worried about, it's gonna be me on camera for an entire video. It's a
this
little
is my
scary.
first vacation in December, which is statistically the highest earning month of an online company.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
I'll-
So
Wait, what happened? Wait, when was the 5000 series vacation then?
July,
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was hot.
June, end of June.
Yeah.
Because I literally was flying home on the 4th of July.
Yeah. I think I just thought it was towards the end of the year because you usually take your vacations like towards...
Usually take my vacations in January
Oh, that's
because
why.
it's my
So at the beginning
vacation
of the year.
from the gauntlets.
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
but-
it's like right after.
Well, because we had been doing a bunch of the 30 days of Techmas, which we're not doing this year.
yeah.
Thank God. I mean, we enjoy it, but I feel like there's a lot of quality that suffers, and you guys already endure enough quality suffering with my channel. So I was just like, we're not doing that this time.
And also, I feel like there was like a lot more big launches, but not like a lot of like the smaller accessory type stuff.
I don't know. I think people right now are extremely over 40 series. If the views say anything, the views for 4090 were through the roof. They were massive. I mean, we're talking 800, 900,000 views, million views on our channel size, which is huge. And then, the cable fiasco, which is now turning into a fairly user-created problem, like it's a end-user problem. But now people are so over it. 4080 launched, and everyone's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I mean, the $1,200 doesn't help too.
no, because if you have an AMD card coming out that is around 4080 level of performance and it's $999,
Yeah.
that's value proposition. It's still $1,000. It's a lot of money.
Which is still frustrating to consumers too, because it's like, this is where the previously 700-ish price point is now 1,000-ish to 1,200.
When you bought your iBuyPower system with the old X58 and the Sabertooth board and all that stuff, and it had a 580 in it, GTX 5, which was like the creme de la creme. 590 came out after your card, but
Yeah.
do you remember how much that system was?
I want to say at least 2.
It had to have been more than that. The card itself was 600.
But it wasn't like a custom hard loop at the time. It was just the AIO as well.
No, but you were on X58, which was very expensive at the time. I want to say it was at least a $2,000 or $3,000 system.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I have to see. Because
Why does that not sound like that much now?
I legit priced it up and then just handed it off to my dad. Because it was one of those, like, hey, if you get straight A's, I'll get you this. I'm like, let's do it. So...
Then I would have literally spec'd the crap out of it and had him be like, no.
No, but hey, you said the report card says.
You said
Yeah.
the only time Nick's ever gotten straight A's in his life.
Straight A.
He graduated with like a 2.9 GPA from college.
No, Nick's always been like decent with his grades. No,
I feel like I fell off in college. It wasn't like high school levels of good.
well, okay. What is high school levels of good? Because people might see my grades and be like, either be like, whoa, that surprises me, or that explains a lot. And I don't know which response people would have.
Like it was clear, like the classes I liked A's, but like the other ones weren't like they're like B's and C range.
Ooh, B's and C's, man. I was scraping by with D's for a while.
Nick is more stereotypically Asian than me.
Look. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I graduated high school late because I had senioritis in my freshman year.
For 4 years.
For 4 years. No, actually, I'll tell you a little bit better how this went. So I was that kid in elementary school or grammar school, whatever you call it, wherever you're at.
Grammar? Wait,
no,
is that really?
Yeah, grammar school. I believe in like the UK and stuff, they call it grammar school. Or maybe they call it intermediate school is like middle school, and then high school, I think they call high school. And
It's
then,
Tuesday, isn't it? School?
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
What a bottle school.
Somebody chime in the chat. What do you guys call like the elementary grades when in the UK? But
like
whatever.
First through 8, right? Or first through 5, 6. And then middle school is 7 and 8, and then high school is 9 through 12.
I think some areas now it's like 5, 6, and 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, and 8 are middle school now. They keep changing it, but whatever. So I was that kid that got really good grades, and they were like, "Oh, he should be in GATE because he's super smart." And I got to take all the little fun like science classes where it was like all college.
Oh, is that like the AP?
Yeah, like college
advanced?
prepping at like 10, right?
Yeah.
And then in middle school, I was like totally teacher's pet and had like straight A's, and every now and then would have that one B that just made my life like, I hate my life, you know? And then I discovered girls.
Girls.
And you know what? Girls in high school, there's a lot to choose from around here. And so around freshman and sophomore year, I was also playing sports.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you turned into the stereotypical job.
So I started studying girls and not studying topics. So I know somebody.
I just never wanted to study. Like it's physically painful.
Okay, so they call it primary school and then secondary school.
Okay, that makes sense. Secondaries would be our high school.
That's weird. You would
right?
think high school would be primary.
Some people act like they're still. Dude, some people are in college that's still acting and writing like they're in primary school, dude.
So yeah, I like 100% like was ditching classes. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I couldn't remember how this came up.
See, that's why my grades being bad is kind of more sad because I wasn't ditching. I wasn't doing anything with the extra time and lack of effort that I was putting in to get like C's and D's.
Yeah, it's funny.
It was just the ADHD.
I was thinking about this randomly the other day. I think it was like yesterday actually. And I don't remember how the topic came in my head. Do you ever sit in traffic and just like random crap pops in your
It's
head?
like a shower
all
thought,
the time.
but like
And
when
it was
you're not in
like
the shower.
I saw a city bus go by and I went, I remember when I used to just hop on the city bus instead of going to class and then just riding the bus for like 3 hours. I'm not even kidding. That's how much I hated class. So,
Man, I should have done that. God.
That's impressive.
no. And then one time I remember because I was coaching tennis at the time. So
Yeah.
I took the bus down to the Rackham Fitness Center where I taught. And then I just went to sleep under a tree for like 4 hours. I was that guy in the park.
I'm there early.
I was that guy under the
Yeah.
park, in the park, sleeping under a tree in the middle of the day. You're like, doesn't that guy have a job to be to? Because I mean, in high school, I looked like an adult. So it was just like, what is this guy doing?
That's so
And
funny.
you know what? I just watched the clouds float by. And I was like, that one looks like a turtle, you know. And then so I'm asleep, and I'm like, oh crap, I better get home, you know, because I'm like, if I'm home too late, my mom will know what's up.
Yeah, that'll be super sus for sure.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And then I before I could drive, like in my freshman year, sophomore year, and stuff. And the reason why I was taking the bus in my junior and senior is because my parents took my car and my license away because I was ditching school, so I just ditched on the bus. I just ditched on the bus.
Jeez.
But
they found out.
Yeah, so I was not a good student. I really wasn't. But I remember one time, I took the bus I don't want to say the cities, but I took the bus like an hour away, like Jeez. An hour drive away, to see a girl that I was dating in a different school district. So I was literally that guy that was like outside leaning against a brick wall with my foot up when their bell went off, and I'm like, let's go. It's like, where are we going? On the bus.
That's funny.
The bus.
But as long as they don't see.
Yeah. No, so now that I look at my oldest daughter right now, who's already talking about like what colleges she wants to go to, what she wants to do for a profession, all that sort of stuff. It's funny because I think that's probably what triggered it. Because the other day we were watching a scary movie. She was like, I want to watch Chucky because it keeps getting like recommended to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we gotta start with Child's Play 1. I'm warning you right now, it is cheesy AF. It is like the cheesiest of all of the scary movies, right? So we watched the first one and she was like, wait, how long is the movie? And she's like, okay, cool. I'm like, what, you got like a hot date or something? She's like, no, I just want to make sure I still have time to read before bed. And I'm like, I've read like one book in my life. You know, and it's just like, dang, she is so not the kind of student I was.
Yeah, right.
Like her when we have her parent-teacher conferences, she just had one, and her teacher's like, man, she is like the student she's worried the least about. Her assignments are always turned in on either early or on time. You know, she's got straight A's. Just everything is just perfect with her schooling. And I'm like, so that's what my mom was really wanting to feel at these meetings.
The flip side though, is you said you were also that student until high school.
Yeah, but right now she's one grade before high school.
Yeah.
And at the age that she is right now, I was still never.
You were already.
I was never that.
Off.
Yeah, I was never that committed. Like she's
because it's like because she could follow your path, which boys happen, and then suddenly her grades go shooting down. But then the thing is that if she does that, since you did it, you're already going to catch that super early and be like, hey.
Oh, yeah, because my parents were boomers. They were beaten half to death if they ditched school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was perfectly okay for a parent to literally like take a 3-inch leather belt to their kids' hide because they ditched school.
Yep.
Now, I'd be a bad parent if I disciplined my kid for ditching school.
My hide twitched when you said that.
Yeah. I had PTSD.
Yeah,
like, oh.
all of us.
My mom's German.
It's just like millennial and older and immigrant parents. Oh,
there were two things. Look, there were like 2 or 3 things that could put the fear of God into me. One of them was what I started to say is before I rode the bus and because I got my car taken away from my parents, I walked to high school. And my mom, if she picked me up, if I were walking home and she's like, flips a Yui in the middle of the road and pulls up next to me, I'm like, oh God, something came in the mail. And it usually was a progress report or something, right?
God, the phrase progress report.
Let's put it this way.
PTSD.
Let's put it this way. I made my mom so angry. She could not wait the 20 minutes for me to walk home. She was like, no, I'm going to go pick him up and I'm going to chew him out on the 5-minute drive home. Okay. She could not wait for me to come home.
Oh my God.
The other one was the mail. Because if a progress report came, because they mailed the progress reports home because they knew students were not going to just turn them in.
Yeah, I remember
right.
That.
So there were
here, give this to your parents. Okay.
And the problem was I couldn't beat the mailman home because it came at like 10 in the morning.
Oh.
And we didn't have a community box. It went to the door box. So there was no getting to it before my mom. And then the other one was
it's rough.
If I walked in the door like to home. And my mom and my dad are sitting on the couch like this.
Yeah. We gotta talk.
And here's the thing. No, here's the thing. If you did something that you're worried about your parents finding out, and you see that, you know, oh crap, they found out. But when you've done so many some things and you don't know which one, and they go, you got something you want to tell us? It's like, I don't know which one to admit to.
Yeah.
Let's start small.
And then if you just say no, then they're still going to be.
Well, we're going to sit here all day long until you tell us. And it's like,
Oh, I'm sorry. I left a cigarette butt in mom's car.
You're smoking?
What? Yeah.
Oh no.
Exactly.
No, there's been a couple of times where I made my mom raise an eyebrow but it's like, it's that whole like, there's a couple of times I'm like, I didn't go to school yesterday. And they're just like, that's not what I'm talking about, but we knew about that. That's happened a few times.
That's so funny.
I have to wonder if these stories surprise people because I think people just assumed I was a goody two shoes student.
I still like how my mom found out that I was smoking cigarettes in her car because of Mark Dizzle.
Oh,
because he went to flick his butt out the window. And then it bounced
we're talking about the
off.
cigarette, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have flicked his butt out the window because it freaking bounced off of well, it's not the A-pillar, but like the window,
did
the
it
top of the
burn
windowsill. It bounced back, landed behind me, and burned my ass.
Oh.
And literally, I was like, what the? And then there was a hole in the seat. And then my mom, of course, she's a boomer, right? And she used to smoke, so she was like, why is there a cigarette burn hole in my seat?
I think one of the last straws with my parents, which is what led to me moving out and what led to me being homeless for a little while, was I had this little kind of a scam going. So my
Bitcoin. It's Jay's head instead of the dude.
So no, my parents.
This thing called FTX going.
I had my parents' mobile card. Remember the mobile gas cards?
Yeah.
I had a mobile card that was for.
That was so weird, but yeah,
was for emergencies, right? My dad had the 76, like the little black thing goes in your keychain, you wave it in front of the pump or whatever.
The speed pass.
Yeah. But I also had their mobile gas card, and it was for emergencies only, and they never really used it. But what I would do is I would go to the gas station, I'd go in with the mobile card and prepay for like, hey, let me get like 50 on 2. Right. Now my little Ford Ranger held like 16 gallons. So then, and back then, instead of just charging it back to the card, they would just give me cash back, like the cash difference.
Oh, really? As the change?
Yes.
They probably didn't have the system to charge back.
I don't. Like you gotta understand. This is like the mid '90s, mid to late '90s,
say,
right?
I feel like refunds directly back to the card was a relatively new thing.
Yeah.
Probably within the last 10 years.
Yeah. So they just gave me back cash.
Yeah. And then you just pocket it.
I was doing that like 3-4 times a week. So it was when my parents got the first statement.
Dang, how bad is this gas mileage? He's filling up 3 times a week.
I want to say the bill that made my mom so mad she couldn't even yell. She was just like, "What am I gonna do with you?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I'll just leave," and she's like, literally, that's the motion that she made. And she opened the door and was like, and I left. And I was gone for like 6 months, but it was like $800.
Damn.
They stopped doing that, and
The
I'm
gas
wondering
card
if
thing?
maybe.
Yeah. Like, because it's not, I mean, it is fraud, but it's like familial fraud.
No, it was
right?
fraud
like,
I was
like,
pulling on my parents.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like when you go to the grocery store and you overwrite a check for cash back and then you bounce the check. That's actual financial fraud, and you can be arrested for that.
Yeah, because you're defrauding the business, but the business is not getting defrauded. It's your parents are.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not really, unless your parents would have to charge you with it, I guess.
Nick, is there anything right now that your mom doesn't know that would shock her? Are you taking anything to the grave?
You also have to.
There's not 2,100 people watching right now. It's just us, okay? And we'll keep your secret. I promise.
There's 2,100.
There won't be Twitter tomorrow for people to rat you out. Don't worry about it.
Post on Twitter. It's fine.
It'll die with Twitter. Don't worry.
Oh, now there's 2,158 people, so it's not 2,100.
I confessed to her, like for high school, like permission slips and stuff for field trips. I forget to ask her, so I would make her signature. Like
the only one I have.
We got a badass over here. But no, wait. But there is sometimes for like attendance and stuff. If I'd like ditch study hall to go out for lunch instead, like we'd get if you hit like 3, you weren't at study hall 3 times, you get like a detention. But I would write an excuse, also signed by my mother, to get me out of said detention.
Okay. So you forged your mom's signature.
Yeah, but I told her about that when I got to college, but she was shocked about that. Because she never realized how many
Did she hold it against you for a little while?
No.
Oh. My mom to this day doesn't know something.
I did confess to the last one, which was the story that you always bring up with the AMD retention clips and how I just shaved the whole row of SMDs off of a motherboard. Yeah, I was like, Mom, the computer broke. I don't know what happened, but we need to go to PC Club. So, and she, bless her heart, literally was like, okay, you want to go tonight? Oh. Yeah, I got a new motherboard that same night. So I confessed to her once I bought her like this like $300 like Bose.
We're even.
Yeah, it was like Bose like Bluetooth speaker or something for Christmas like a few years ago. I was like, oh, by the way, thank you for buying me a whole new motherboard.
So I had a. Oh man, I'm people are they're gonna lose respect for me, but I don't care. They already have no respect for me.
Plus, this podcast episode is like way off the rails.
These
now.
are the oh yeah, we had topics, but we haven't even touched them yet.
I can't even log into my Google Docs because I didn't bring my tablet, so I really don't know.
Oh, here, dude, I got you.
No, it's fine. I don't need your broken like tablet screen.
My dad, I think it was like 1997. That'd be my junior year sophomore year going into junior year. Yeah. Got a flatbed scanner.
A flatbread scanner.
Yo.
And my dad was like, cool. He wanted to use it to like,
what year was this? Like
97.
Like 97. Dang,
yeah.
Dude.
And it was actually a color, but the DPI on it was so high, it could get like watermarks and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
No, I'm not printing checks or anything like that.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I started a little business with my friend group making new report cards.
Nice.
And to this day, now here's where it got serious. I was offered a good student discount on our car insurance because of that report card.
That's funny.
So it's like, oh, when my mom, like when I got my license, she's like, okay, we're going to farmer's insurance because she had farmer's insurance. She's like, we'll get her on the insurance. And they're like, well, what discounts does he apply for? It's like, what's his grades? And she's like, he got A's. And he's like, oh, cool. Do you have a report card? And she's like, no, but I can bring one. And I'm like, uh-oh. This is now getting serious.
Yeah, because I have to make my.
But no, I was actually charging my friends like $50 back then.
That's smart.
Like, I had one friend. I won't say his name. I doubt he's watching, but I had one friend that literally I kept him out of boarding school.
Dang.
With his because he was like, I think if he had a D, everyone's like, wow, you know,
wow.
Crap.
And by a D, I mean that was his best grade.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, like, eventually the truth would come out.
Yeah.
And I do remember, like, our senior year when the truth came out, I thought for sure, I'm like, oh man, he's gonna throw me under the bus. I just know it. Nope.
Oh, that friend, the boarding school friend?
He took it and he took the punishments and he said he did it himself. And I was just like, sweet.
Yeah. Dude.
As he's going down.
Press F to pay respect.
The Titanic.
Yeah, just.
I think I changed like 5 or 6 report cards. The hard part was our school used watermarks.
Yeah.
And even had the watermark.
That's
even
pretty advanced
says,
for 97.
Yeah, it was actually really good. And
What
then my dad had Photoshop and the whole deal. And then I printed it out. But the thing was, I had to literally.
You're the reason that when you scan money in a Photoshop, it doesn't allow you to edit it.
Yeah. Well, the thing was like,
it's Jay's.
And I didn't change them like, here's your straight A's. It was like, here's your 3 D's and a C.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah, obviously you got to make it believable.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, yeah, these students now all straight A's. It's like.
Yeah, that's why my mom was also super surprised that I wasn't graduating on time.
Oh. That's
she's like,
how.
She's like,
wait.
Yeah, to this day, she doesn't know.
Why?
Yeah.
Like,
no. She's 75 years old, and I can't do that to her.
She's still telling people like, yeah, my son was a straight A student.
No, I was never straight A's. I guess I give myself C's and D's.
Oh yeah.
I just changed the failing classes.
That's funny.
So wow, I don't know if anyone's gonna believe anything I have to say now. Jay's he just does fraud.
Are they going to believe them benchmarking charts now?
Benchmarking?
Benchmarking charts.
Okay, Elon's degrees fraud anyway. He's running SpaceX. SpaceX looks like they're doing work.
We forgot to turn the air on. It's starting to get warm in here.
I was wondering, yeah. Oh.
Nico, turn the air on. Okay. Well, Phil can talk about this topic.
Oh, yeah. Freaking Rise of the Resistance. Dude, I finally got to ride it, and... there's so much cool tech.
You did that right when the light came on. I thought you were burning.
I know. Like, it's just, like, there's so much cool tech in that thing. I watched, like, a behind-the-scenes video to figure out the tricks that I didn't know, like, how they did and stuff.
I love... I've been on a bunch. I love when I walk... After you get tractor beamed and pulled on board. I love watching the faces of those that have never been on it. When the doors open and you see the Legion of Stormtroopers, you see the full-size TIE fighters.
My brain broke before that because the door opened and I realized, wait, that's the same door we came in, and we're in a different place.
Yeah.
Like that was the.
But you know it just turns 180.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like a giant turntable that
So one thing we talked about when you guys rode it, you guys didn't get the full experience because during that little battle, that thing is like bouncing and shaking, and you literally have to hold on because you're like, whoa.
Oh,
so I'm starting to wonder if maybe they toned
you
it
said,
down.
Or what was it? Lil J said that the cannons weren't recoiling.
Yeah.
In our run, yeah, and I guess the Torque guy.
He said that those were interfering because they have interference, right?
Yeah.
They were
cannons,
interfering.
For the guys that don't know, they're those giant prequel style cannons in the ship where they're broadsiding each other and stuff. But then like the cannon recoils, and then your little like Roomba cart thingy can.
Yeah, because they basically are filling the thing and they're going, doof, doof, and they're pulling back and you're going past.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've had to.
Ours like still did the dance with the Roombas, but like obviously you could tell where the cannon was supposed to recoil and your car was supposed to go through.
Yeah.
But.
What I like is that fact that you guys got to go up the elevator because there's two different routes.
Yeah,
and I don't like the lower route as much. It's not as fun, but the elevator's cool.
Like the BTS video that I saw, not the K-pop band, the BTS video, the behind the scenes video that I saw was the other route, so I got to see it. I was like, oh, that's the other route Jay was talking about, where you go to the side of the AT-AT and then but you're right. The one that we got was way cooler because
you see the guns go
and you see them start to light up inside too, and it's like
My question is like, why were there already pilots in there? If it's in a hangar.
And like, what are they doing when everything else is going down? Like,
clearly the arm switch was on.
Yeah.
I like how they were just like, screw it, shoot inside their own ship.
One thing I noticed from the behind the scenes video is that on the side route, they actually have another projection screen inside the cockpit that projects the people shooting at the other car.
Yeah,
inside.
from sideways.
Yeah, exactly. So you see the side view of the pilots going like, oh, hey, and then doing the whole motion.
I like with the probe droid when you were like, oh, I thought it was gonna be a probe droid. I'm like, you'll see one, and it's way bigger than you think.
They are so big.
They're huge. They're like as round as this table. Yeah. Well, the table's square, but still, it's like that size. You're just like, oh my god.
My favorite little detail, God, like there's so many insane like tech
only
details.
People that are actually, I don't even think people that are somewhat into Star Wars could appreciate it to a level to like a real Star Wars fan would.
Yeah.
At the level of detail that's in that ride.
But honestly, like I think also if you're into any sort of visual or practical effects, because that's what I was telling Nick. I was like, I know how I would do any of these effects in After Effects, but it's like the fact that they can do it in real time, live in front of my own eyes, and I'm still believing them. Like, I love that sort of magic trick aspect about it.
I love how you were leaning against the wall and we're like, Phil, move. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then I looked at the rebels were freaking cutting the wall. You see like the welding marks going, and then the whole door just pops out. Or it's not even, well, I mean, obviously it is a real door, but the cutout is so perfectly
You don't notice it because it matches the panels.
It's so
panel
seamless.
Scenes,
yeah, that blew my mind. Like I literally could not find the seam.
And the projectors are the holograph projectors are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell they're flat, but they're pretty convincing.
It's enough to like
because it
make
allows
seem
there
like
to be
it's texture.
depth.
Yeah.
It was trippy because I thought it was like the Haunted Mansion effect.
Oh, the screen, the glass
for the Ray
reflection.
hologram.
Yeah.
But no, it's there's an OLED in there.
Yeah.
That doesn't have the backlight layer.
Yeah.
So it's just an OLED that lights up and then shines through the thing, but it's it's behind the glass and stuff, and then it's just a mirror a one-way mirror that mirrors the room, so it looks like there's another room on the other side, which there is, but they have like the two OLEDs and then mirrors and then the BB-8s on each side. But yeah, oh my god, like so many little details.
I like how the workers are all in character.
Yeah, yeah, like Jay got.
I told you, I always get in trouble.
Yeah, because
you guys didn't leave me any room.
No, and plus
I know,
there was
I want to see
also
what would happen.
there was also that fan that did spot you, and then he took a picture with you. And it was hilarious because the next day I saw it on Reddit. I was like waking up, I'm like, let me check my Reddit. Hey, that's Jay and that dude that's
Jay before he got scalded.
Yeah, yeah, like the Imperial officer was not having it when he comes running up after like catching up to our group after taking the picture with the fan.
You're given a color that you have to stand on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, like Jay literally forgot his.
Well, I stood next to you guys, and then she's like, pick a color. I'm like, So I put a toe on each one, and she's like, that's not a color. So then, like, I put my feet in the middle, and she was like,
dude, what if I'm like?
So then I was like Zuri. I like slowly took a toe, and I'm like, and then I was talking to you guys as the line went on.
Yeah,
and then she was like, red will follow gray. Whenever Gray decides he wants to go, and I'm like,
I was like, Jay, they're gonna interrogate you separately.
I told you something happens to me when I go on that ride because the line is an experience in that ride. In fact, because we got to go through the fast pass or the what they call it, the lightning lane. Yeah. There's a lot of the line lead up that you didn't get to see.
Yeah,
it's the hour and a half to 2 hour wait you'll wait in that line is entertaining.
Yeah,
and so You even get to walk through the armory and stuff and see all the rifles, and it's pretty
wow,
neat.
yeah, you're right. I did miss
Yeah,
that.
on the resistance side. But something happens to me whenever I get in that ride. It's like brain goes, doo. And I don't know colors. I don't understand in a line. I can't face the right direction.
Assault. Like it's like if you put on a VR headset that was retina resolution, basically. Yeah. That's what it feels like. It genuinely feels like this is an experience that I know is physically impossible, but I am on a Star Destroyer. And you know what I mean? These are real First Order troops like yelling at my boss. It's great.
And then when you go into the hangar bay with the AT-AT, you're like, everyone's reaction's always the same. Whoa.
I was like, dude.
And you know, knowing Disney, like it's probably not even a 1-to-1 scale. It's probably like a 7/8 scale, but enough to, you know, make it look like
that Millennium Falcon is like 7/8 scale.
Yeah. I know it was like slightly smaller.
Yeah. The AT-AT probably isn't, but it's funny because my sister works at Disney and she got to see them build it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like so my name, my dad's name, my mom's name, my kids' names, my wife, and my sister's family's names, on the highest mountain spire, there's a steel beam in there.
Oh,
and while it was down, the cast members got to write
so cool.
sign names on it, so our name is up there. But
I know the Matterhorn is a publicly known one where there's another spot for people to sign stuff, like people that get to behind the scenes and visit and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the one that's up inside where the little basketball hoop is.
Yeah.
But that's one you can still access. Where this once the steel was surrounded,
this is a signature inside a thing.
Yeah. But no,
cool. That's so cool.
It was a big deal when they were building it because Disney doesn't like to reveal any of the magic as it's happening. They're very big on veiling everything, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But there was no hiding the fact that they assembled a giant AT-AT first and then built a building around it.
It's a very recognizable shape.
Because they didn't build the building first. They built the walker first.
They probably should have done it the other way around. And it just occurred to me why there's the elevator in the AT-AT room.
Because you have to have the drop.
Yeah, you have to have the drop tower for the escape pod, which honestly is...
But we still went up on the ride for the drop.
And then the pod went down when we left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go blah, 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 AT-AT room, blah, 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 drop tower.
Okay. Nope.
Where else would you go up? You don't go up again. Yeah, you're tripping.
Yeah, I'm tripping.
You don't go up again. It's the AT-AT room only is the elevator. And I love that they look like Jedi Knight elevators. Yeah. Like just every super not OSHA safe elevator in Star Wars. No, where it's just a platform. That lifts the Roombas. Yeah.
Because the other car, when it goes to the side, goes up another side.
Because if you think about the fact that like you're riding a thing, but like realistically the space is supposed to be designed for people, humans to work on.
Yeah.
And so like imagine like, all right, I'm gonna go to the second level, and there's just no safety railing on the elevator.
I want whatever fan system they're using for cooling a PC that they use when the hole gets blown open and there's that vacuum. Yeah.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Because your face was like, whoa.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting, because the hole pops on my left side, and I wasn't expecting a rush of wind on this side. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. But like at the time, my brain was like, oh, immersion.
Your brain's like, we're in space.
Yeah, no, this is awesome.
Space.
Yeah, and that the little mini drop tower on the escape pod is like one of the coolest, like
then it turns into a little like Star Tours ride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's dude, I mean the idea that they were just it was like some drunk engineer just like, what if we put Star Tours on top of the Tower of Terror? But yeah, because it's the same tech. It's like Disney's like, cool, we have done both of those things before. Why not just
incorporate it?
Yeah, exactly. And then like that was definitely one of the coolest motion simulator things I've ever experienced because nothing replaces falling 15 feet.
Yeah. That's a sensation you can't fake.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't fake that.
And then I love that if I was watching the behind the scenes video and it also falls backwards too. Like it tilts up as they're falling.
Which gives you even more idea, feeling like you're going forward because it shoots you down.
The cool thing is because the ship in the sim drops straight down, then it tilts down towards the planet, but it falls like this. It falls pitching up.
So you feel the momentum.
Yeah, you feel the momentum more, and when it pitches down, then it just levels off.
Yeah.
But in reality, it looks like you're falling towards the planet, and then, that's why you don't feel like you're super falling forwards towards the planet, but...
That's not even much, but it's that little drop that keeps my youngest daughter off the ride.
Oh yeah.
She's ridden it before, and then she's like,
yeah. And I mean, you've seen me. Like I don't do like Matterhorn and everything because it's just too much. But yeah, even that was like.
Well, the Matterhorn's too much for even somebody in perfect fitness because the Matterhorn is just the backcracker. Yeah. Oh but, man. Yeah. It's funny. A little fun fact about that. So when they built Cars Land, Radiator Springs. And the Radiator Springs Racers and all that. The Racers ride was the most advanced Imagineering Marvel they had done
project
yet.
up until
yes.
right. Yeah.
Cars Land itself costs more than the entire rest of the park. Rise of Resistance costs more than all of that renovation plus the original cost of the park.
Jeez.
So when you talk about just for that one
just for the
attraction,
attraction in Star Wars Land, that's nuts.
and that doesn't take into account the entire cost of Galaxy's Edge.
But when you
It's like
see
they
it in
pulled out
action,
all the stops for that one though.
yeah,
Yeah.
like because I think one of the most magical things about it is the fact that because it's trackless, like there's very little ride things that you notice.
And I've always wondered how much they wander, but they don't. You look at the floor, the wear pattern is perfect.
you can see just a touch of it just because they're physically correcting for low
the weight,
imperfections and stuff.
and there's
yeah.
weight differences on each one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But,
so the cars
yeah.
still have to drive themselves. They can't just be issued commands and then go and then it
Yeah,
just drive
but they're
straight to a
still
wall.
so precise. Like the wear marks on the ground
Yeah.
are super obvious.
I wish the behind the scenes went more into the charging system because
yeah, it's like
so
how do you keep them going all day?
there's pads where the cars pick you up, that little room, like where the resistance.
They just get a
unit.
quick charge while they're sitting there.
There's another charge at the drop off when they drop off the passengers, and they go into that tunnel, and then there's a third charger in there, and then the crazy thing is, so you know how when the ride first starts, you get those 2 empty cars. Those are coming from the charger. But it's funny because they play it off as if you just got spotted already.
Okay,
it blew my mind because
every time I've been on that ride, I think about it. I'm like, there's nobody on those.
yeah,
because
they're
they
coming back
were
from
just getting a
drop-off.
charge.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
They're coming back from the charge after the drop off, and then they just literally go straight into that, and then door closes, and then more people come in.
So there's another ride in Disney World that it's Ratatouille.
Oh.
It's like Remy's Escape or whatever it is. They use that same kind of system.
Trackless.
Yeah, the same exact time,
yeah.
and then it goes in and out of different 3D rooms, and it's pretty
That
neat.
blows my mind. Just knowing enough about that sort of computer vision and just automated navigation systems and stuff like that. It's the fact that it works at all, let alone reliably enough to. I mean, reliably is relative, right? Because that ride's always down. But that's the reason why it's always down is because it's the most freaking complicated thing ever.
Well, apart from the Star Wars ride, I was pretty blown away by even the Toy Story ride, like the 3D and the Spider-Man one, the rooms and stuff.
Those the low interactive ones.
The
right?
web
yeah,
slingers.
yeah.
Those were awesome. Especially the Spider-Man one because it
Dude, my
was all
arms were so
motion
sore.
tracking, and it's they're doing this.
Did
for
you know
4
that
people
game?
at a
Did you
time.
know that ride is pay to win?
Wait, really?
If you go into the store and you buy the web slinger thing you put on your wrist,
Oh, that's funny. I
it
saw
gives
the
you
little...
it gives you a score boost.
That's funny. It's literally pay to win.
Yeah, yeah. And anyone that's got the high scores have all been using those.
That's funny. Yeah, because I remember I got the high score out of our group, and then I looked at the freaking.
I had the lowest
leaderboard.
score. Maddie had a bigger score than me. I suck at that ride so
'Cause you
bad.
have so much more arm to move.
My arms are fat. They're like, oh, I keep going.
'Cause
I'm the worst Spider-Man ever.
'cause the
Is there
body-
Bumblebee Man or maybe Caterpillar Man? Can I be him? Because
the body tracking system calibrates to your arm length, and then it's like, okay, cool. This guy's got freaking 15 feet long arms. So
It's oh snap.
it's just slower.
yeah,
that's funny.
I'm not like a Disney fan, but because my wife and my 2 kids are very, very Disney fanatics.
Yeah.
I call myself Disney tolerant. I've been on.
That's a good. Yeah,
I've been
no,
on
I'm right
multiple
there, too.
Disney cruises. I've been to Disney World. We have annual Magic Keys to Disneyland. We go all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just very tolerant of it.
Yeah, you
and,
had,
and my job when we go is what's the most efficient route to get to here to here to here, and get as much done as possible,
No,
and
you
get
don't have
Starbucks
to.
along the way and food.
That's full dad mode.
Yes.
I know. Now, no wonder you've been doing the tour thing because it's now you don't have to do that. You don't have to think about
It's
it.
I need the New Balances. I need the khaki pants. I need the button up
Shorts.
the
Jorts.
or shorts.
Jorts.
The jorts. I need the khaki shorts. The polo
Tucked in
shirt tucked
polo.
in, and then basically the slick back hair, and then literally it's okay, where do you guys want to go? All right, J Troop, round up, let's go, move.
Put sunglasses on. Yeah.
I got this.
Little fanny pack.
It must be so much easier now with the tour guide, huh?
I love taking people to Disneyland that have never been because I do know all the efficient routes. I know how to look at the map and say, okay. I've said this a million times. If anyone in chat, you are getting some, and WAN show started early, so our viewers are starting to drop because Linus is a dick. Anyway, moving on.
Just clip it out of context.
Those that are still here are the true OGs. Anyway, if you've never been to Disneyland, this works at Disney World too, by the way, but more so at Disneyland because Disneyland's way more smaller and condensed than Disney World. If you look at the map on the app, you can see that there's always going to be one part of the park where the weights are really high. Like, for instance, you can be like, okay, for whatever reason, Indiana Jones is only a 35-minute wait, but Space Mountain is 120. And then you'll see that Autopia is 45. And then you'll see that everything over there, like Astro Blasters and Tomorrowland, it's all really high. There's what I call the blob. The blob is the massive amount of people that always make it into the park right about 30 minutes after opening. The hell was that?
Somebody just like headbutted the
It's
wall.
the blob.
Yeah, it's the blob.
So anyway,
the Mickey Mouse is gonna come in and strangle you before you give away all the secrets.
so believe it or not, when the gates open is not when the park is busiest. It's about a half hour to an hour after the park opens.
Right, because it's like all the rest of the people that were late to the opening, right?
Yeah, getting there and getting kids and stuff up and ready and in the gates by 8 is hard.
Yeah.
Because you have to be in line early for that. But
That's
anyway,
earlier than work.
that group of people, even though they will kind of like go off in different directions, there's a mass to that group that always seems to kind of go the same way. Okay, and remember, Disneyland is a hub and spoke design. A spug and hope design. It's a hub and spoke design where everything branches off from the middle.
Yeah.
That's the way it was designed.
Yeah, Main Street, right? And then the castle's in the middle, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then everything does connect around the perimeter back to that hub and spoke.
Okay.
But everyone will sort of go the same way. So if you want to know which way that group went, look at the map. Wherever there's the highest wait time, if you literally just 180 yourself.
Oh, go to the opposite spoke?
And then just go in the same direction, you can find that wait times are literally half what they will be.
Smart.
So instead of going, okay, we want to go on this ride next and all the way, it's just going and waiting in it, go, okay, fine, let's go this way. Let's hit up this part of the park. And by the time you're done there, you'll notice that blob has started somewhere else now. Because I'm sure people have seen this. There's about 145,000 people at Disneyland every day. That's like the capacity with both parks, at the whole resort. Ask yourself how there can be that many people and you'll see the same people like 4 or 5 times a day. Have you ever noticed? Maybe you didn't pay attention.
Because you just end up being in a blob, with the
yeah.
people.
And there's been times where I've managed to get us on like every ride twice, in the day, and the kids got to do everything they wanted to do.
Dang.
We got our food, we got our coffee. My wife got her like the churro toffee that she loves, whatever. Right? All these things that have lines, obviously. But there's been times where we're like, okay, let's go here, and I'm like, I've seen that person like 4. I'm like, we're in the blob, and then literally we're like, we got to go this way.
Yeah, just go opposite, complete opposite.
You can see the black cat is like, oh, we got to go.
Yeah. But I'm sure people have noticed this at Disney World too, or Universal Studios. Like, if there's 100,000 people somewhere, how do you continue to bump into the same person 4 or 5 times?
That's a great theory. I never thought about it.
Yeah, but it's only taken me going to Disneyland since I was literally born. And I'm 41 years old now to realize this.
I was gonna make the joke that like I'm gonna be sure to use this knowledge on my 4th time ever visiting Disneyland whenever it happens.
Well, your 4th time would be the best time because you'll know how to avoid
Well,
that.
I mean, my 3rd time was the best
Caspian,
time.
It sounds like Caspian border on Battlefield 3. Like we go to one spot.
Yeah,
but
everyone's just capping.
Yeah.
Because what happens if you see a flag being capped over there? Oh, they're over there. Look, they're probably weak over here. Let's go over here.
I
It's
love
the
how
exact
that's
same thing.
the most efficient analogy for you guys to use. It's like, what if it was Battlefield 3? Oh, dude, then we would be really good at Disneyland.
but Caspian was a circle.
It's literal circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I don't know. I was always flying, so.
Yeah, I was running around.
That's so funny.
I
love the fact that I have barely gone, even though I live like 45 minutes away from it, just because like, it kind of keeps it special a little bit.
I don't know. For me,
obviously you're kind of obligated to go with kids.
I'm Disney tolerant. I enjoy it. When I went on Disney cruises back in 2019 and 2020, yeah, I've been on Disney cruises in 2020. I was like, dude, these are so freaking expensive. Why are they so expensive? But I've been on Carnival cruise, and
you'd rather pay the Disney.
Carnival is Southwest, okay, and Disney is like United, or it's like Arab Emirates, whatever. The flight business class.
Oh, like okay.
It's nice, but it's not zippity doo dah and it's a small world all day long. It's like, hey, this whole like 8th level, that's dedicated to the kids. You drop your brats off there. You go to the spa. You go to the bars, because guess what? The whole back half of the ship on certain levels is nothing but bars and nightclubs.
It's the adult section, the grown-up section. Yeah.
No, actually, the whole ship is the adult section. It's just this one level's for kids.
Oh, wow.
So what you're trying to tell me, it's like IKEA, but like the kids area is
kind of, yeah.
bigger.
It's big. It's big. Yeah.
It's big land.
And then the rear,
small land.
Small land. Yeah.
Like the rear of the ship. So like I said, there's nightclubs, there's game show nights, there's fun stuff. And then there's like one of the funnels actually has they call it Edge, which is for the older kids there. And then the bow of the ship is actually a separate private area there that has a pool in the bow and a spa and all that. That's just for the 15 to 17 year olds.
Oh, wow.
So they get that part of the ship. And I'm like, that's not fair. That's a cool part of the boat. I want to be there.
They didn't even see Titanic yet, and so they can't even do the thing.
So when we crash into something, they'll be the first ones to know. But
no, I was just saying, because if you're at the front, you're going to do the king
you
of the world
can't get
thing.
up there. It's like a subterranean kind of a thing. It's really neat. But no, that was the biggest thing I took away from the Disney cruise was like, dude, this is an adult cruise.
Yeah,
it is.
They're just very good at
Yes,
dealing with children.
there are screaming brats. Yes, there is character meet and greets, and there's princesses and all that. But you know what? There's also a day where the freaking Darth Vader boarded the ship, and there's stormtroopers everywhere, and they literally have like taken control of the ship for Star Wars Day.
That's pretty cool.
That's dope.
And all the characters and stuff. There's Imperial officers walking around and doing like interrogations. And it's neat. It's really neat.
Is it like the interactive stuff though? Like, so you meet a rebel and you guys start doing like scavenger hunts around the ship and stuff for the kids or whatever? Or?
Yeah, they do that in the kids level.
Oh, okay.
Like they call it the kids club. They do that in there where the characters will go in there. So Darth Vader will show up in there too. And like all the lights turn red and they're doing. The kids are like, ah, they start screaming and running. But
say that might
Mom,
be funny
come
to
pick
watch.
me up.
yeah.
Like, no, you're on your own, kid.
If you don't get a Star Wars at sea cruise, there's Marvel at sea. So you end up having Marvel superheroes and Marvel villains like on the ship.
Sick.
But I mean, these are franchises Disney bought. They're like, how can we maximize this purchase, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's just Disney's MO. Period. How do we maximize everything?
And for anyone in California, I know I'm gonna sound like a freaking tour advisor now, or a tour agent. If you want to experience a Disney cruise, but you don't want to spend the money, because here's the problem: when you live in California, a family of 4 flight to Orlando, then the cruise, and then the flight back. I mean, you're looking at minimum 10 grand plus. It's expensive. And that doesn't include any of the stuff you would do on the ship or anything you'll buy on the ship. Because the cost of the ship includes the food, right? The accommodations.
You just don't really spend money after you're on it.
Yeah, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, that's all free. Alcohol's not free. None of the excursions or anything you want to do on board the ship. Like there's a whiskey tasting night. I did mixology. We did a mixology class where I learned how to make a bunch of different drinks. But that stuff all has cost. Yeah. Anything you get off the ship to do has cost.
Right.
So that all adds up. You probably expect for a family of 4 to spend $2,000 on that stuff easily. But Disney now, because they have so many ships now, because the Wish is now launched, they just acquired the, I think it was from Holland America. They just acquired the Global Dream, which is a partially finished ship. That apparently they decided they're not going to finish, and Disney was like, "We'll buy it." And
interesting.
Which is a 6,000 passenger ship. It's going to be one of the biggest ships in the world. Doesn't even fit through the Panama Canal, so it'll just be in Europe. Actually, it's going to be a Mediterranean ship.
Oh yeah.
They want
to transfer it between oceans. You have to sail all the way around the Horn, huh?
Oh yeah, that's why all the Disney ships have always been fairly narrow versus like the Royal Caribbean and stuff. Is they have to fit through the Panama Canal. But no, that ship's going to be going to a bunch of markets that they've never really done before.
Right, because it's usually here for us, right?
Miami, Port Canaveral, and then they would have some sailings on the West Coast out of San Diego, potentially San Francisco, and then Vancouver to Alaska, which was one of the cruises that was canceled for us. And then they'll have one cruise to Hawaii and then one cruise from Hawaii back. But now the Wonder, the Disney Wonder, is almost exclusively West Coast. So you could get on a 3-day or a 5-day or even a 7-day Baja California cruise.
Oh, nice.
So you go out of San Diego, you go down to like Ensenada, you go down to like Cabo San Lucas, and then you have some days at sea and you come back up to San Diego. Or from San Diego to Catalina to Ensenada for the short ones, which is the same route like Carnival would do, and then back to San Diego. But the thing is, you can get that Disney cruise experience and not have to pay for any of those flights and stuff if you're within driving range to San Diego.
Right.
Or at least flying regional is a lot less expensive than transcontinental. And the thing is, those cruises are like $2,500 for a family of 4.
Dang.
Yeah, because I've been pricing it. I'm like,
I know, because you've thrown around the idea of like a company one.
Yeah.
Just because it'd be
no.
fun.
If I did a company cruise, we're going on like Virgin or because Virgin Cruise Lines. That's pricey, but so is the accommodations. That is like no kids kind of cruise.
I was gonna say like if it's anything like their airline, like I've always had an exceptional experience on Virgin Air.
Yeah, no, he knows how to do accommodations, whether it be their hotels, their flights, or
Richard Branson.
Yeah, Branson. He's very involved in the design of that stuff.
Even their spaceship looks comfortable.
I know, right?
It looks like that'd be a fun ride.
But yeah, no, that was something we were talking about doing, and then COVID hit.
Yeah,
we were talking about doing a West Coast cruise, either out of San Pedro or San Diego, and then just doing like a 5-night, and it's like, hey, everyone can bring a +1, and it's like, we'll see you on the boat.
And then, yeah, that thing happened.
Yeah.
People started coughing, and then, you know.
But that thing isn't stopping that stuff anymore. So we can start entertaining the idea. But there's no way in hell I was going to be flying everyone to Orlando.
Let me get my like 19th booster.
The thing is like,
I just walk in with like syringes sticking out of me. It's like, what do you do? All right, I'm ready for the cruise now. Super protected.
the thing is,
bro.
if you want to get that tropical experience out of the West Coast, you have to go down to Mexico.
Right.
The thing is too, like the nights on the West Coast in the Pacific, they cool off. Whereas the Caribbean and the Bahamas, they stay warm.
Oh, makes sense.
So there's no like, I don't know. I feel like the cruising's better out there, but so
yeah, I
is
mean the weather is
region.
just
All right. Well,
What a derailed.
Well, I saw a lot of people are like, they love this unscripted type of chat.
Yeah,
I saw people like, he's not talking tech. It's like, oh, you can F off. I don't really care what you think. So,
And also, we very rarely do on purpose.
yeah, newbies. They don't know. They're new around here.
Every time we talk about tech, it's pretty much an accident.
If we talk
on
about
here.
tech, it was not intended. We're going to talk about tech right now, though, because I want to talk about the Twitter thing a little bit. I'm sure people are probably tired of hearing about it. There's tons of memes going around, obviously.
Hold on, is this still up? Let me check.
I didn't even know that this was going on. I was like, basically,
Oh, mine's taking forever to load. Oh, no, it's up.
okay. So
Yay, cat pictures.
So I was laying in bed, like just kind of watching TV last night, just catching up on some YouTube. I watched some Cletus McFarlane. I'm a huge McFarlane fan, right? You know, I'm sitting there just watching videos, and then I saw your tweet, and I saw Austin Evans' tweet,
yeah?
and I saw like Linus memeing it, and I'm like, what is happening right now? So then I saw about the mass exodus that took place yesterday.
Yeah, he gave him an ultimatum and said, like, either you go extra hardcore.
That ultimatum, that was designed to make people quit.
Yeah.
So my best friend has this theory that Musk might be intentionally trying to tank the company.
Right.
Because he was forced to buy it he was forced to buy it. He made the offer. He was exposed. He was given full insights into how the company runs and stuff. And then the company and their lawyers basically are like, no, you have to go through the purchase now. We have divulged confidential stuff to you.
Yeah.
You now have to buy it. That's the only reason you were seeing this.
Yeah.
And so he had to buy it.
It's like signing the paper at a car dealership and then refusing to take the car and then being like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, you already.
Yeah. And so he fires all the executives, which everyone knew was coming. He fires over 50% of the staff, right? And then starts firing people he doesn't like because he'll say something stupid on Twitter. Look, first of all, I hate Elon Musk. He is like the biggest man-child I've ever seen publicly. He is literally a super villain, only there's nothing super about him, and the only thing villainous about him is his stupidity. And so he thinks because he's the richest man in the world that, well, I guess was, I don't know if he still is, but he thinks that makes him the smartest man in the world. And that's not true. He just employed a lot of smart people that built great companies that he's now literally tearing down to the ground. And so he starts firing people that say anything that even correcting him, like the engineers about how the servers and stuff work.
He had said he had put a tweet and then about why Twitter on Android was slow, and then literally the Twitter on Android dev was like, no, this is actually what's happening, and then he put like a 10 tweet thread, and then he got fired.
Yeah, and he got fired for correcting Musk on wrong information.
The dude was doing his job.
Literally, and then
But he wasn't fired for anything other than making Musk look bad.
Yeah, it was no,
like, Musk makes
you
Musk,
went against
Musk
policy.
look bad. But my point is now, like, the latest thing I saw on the news today was I saw this actually on the news this morning because at where I was getting my haircut this morning, they have the TV up and it was on the news, and they talked about the mass exodus continued today.
Yeah.
And so they closed all the HQ or the offices until Monday. Like
Which
all
was
of
funny
them.
because it was like no more remote work, and then also we're gonna close all our offices on Monday, and then people were memeing that because they were like, "So which is it?"
Wasn't he also saying the same thing about Tesla and SpaceX? Like all those employees had to be in office. Like,
I think so.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's always been like that. Like
But-
that's always been one of his things. But yeah,
but you mentioned the ultimatum.
yeah.
You're gonna work. I can't remember his exact quote. I am paraphrasing here.
Extremely hardcore, and then
Yes.
everyone was posting the hardcore parkour.
But yeah, he said it was going to be extremely hardcore to make the platform what it should be, et cetera. It would be ready to work long hours, long days, long nights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or quit and get 3 months severance.
Yeah, right before the holidays, you get a little vacation, get to see your family, and then you
And
get
you
to
know
find a new
what?
tech job.
You know what? If you have the resume, you're gonna get picked up in some other tech.
Yeah, dude. Like these people, because these people aren't like janitors. You know what I mean? These are like high level engineers and stuff that have written a lot of this code that very clearly. I mean, yeah, we always joke about, oh, Twitter's down, but if you think about it, we joke on Twitter about the things that are down.
Yeah.
Which kind of shows how reliable it's been.
It's been very reliable.
Yeah.
And
so
so
it's like
that's-
these engineers are the people that architected this thing, and they're gonna get jobs because
That's why I made this statement. If Musk were to ever show interest in buying Google, I'm out. I'm retiring. I'm out.
Yeah.
I won't have a platform to upload to, you know?
Don't say that. People are going to make him buy it.
No, you know what? I started thinking to myself, before all of this crap happened, it was like right around the time Musk became CEO, right? Became owner of the company, et cetera, whatever.
So 2 weeks ago or
Yeah,
less.
it was around there. Like I said, my best friend was like, I have a theory that Musk is tanking this on purpose. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you take a $44 billion deal like this? And now I'm seeing this. I'm like, either the man is literally a lunatic, which is very likely.
Yeah, that's probably,
Or he's doing this on purpose because there has to be some potential benefit to him to tank it and then maybe take the $44 billion loss. I don't know.
It's all because Grimes broke up with him. This is him. This is his rage, like punching the wall after.
It's like flooring it. I miss her so much.
Yeah. Oh no. This is him. Just like, you know what? She broke up with me, so I'm gonna make her not be able to tweet anymore because I'm gonna run Twitter to the ground.
Oh my god.
That's his way of getting back at her.
You know, for the record,
some real F-boy activities.
Their robot kid A12 Ash whatever.
This might be unpopular opinion, but I'm perfectly fine with Twitter burning to the ground.
I'm like indifferent / slightly sad because it's kind of like rip aim.
But you know what? Something.
But he had a good run. We had a good run on Twitter.
Look,
Nick's not even on it anymore, so he's like
Nick's like, I don't care.
Yeah, like cool. And have fun, guys.
No, I firmly believe we need a social media revolution of some sort. What does that look like?
A new platform that's like not
MySpace?
as ridiculous.
No, but because the problem is the reason for this in the notes I had in my doc, I don't even need to look at it because this has just been on my mind for a while. And I mentioned leaving Twitter, and so many people were like, why would you do that? It just reduces your exposure. It's like, are you kidding? Less than like 3% of my exposure on YouTube comes from Twitter. I can see the sources.
And like
Twitter does nothing but give you guys a platform to bitch at me on.
I was about to say, and like 87% of the hate you get is from Twitter.
Yeah. So,
and then the rest of it is Reddit.
But I also feel like as long as it's around, I sort of have this obligation to be present there. So I'm conflicted. Yeah. Like I hate what social media as a whole has done to people and interactions and sociability and whatnot. I hate what's become of that. But at the same time,
because it's no longer optional. That's the thing.
For me, it's not optional.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook. I left Facebook in 2016. I had a JayzTwoCents page and all that sort of stuff. But I was just like, there's too much. There's Instagram. There's Facebook. There's Twitter. There's obviously the YouTube, and then TikTok, and then Snapchat, and all this. I can't just do all this anymore.
And then Facebook went to the old people anyway. So probably because a lot of people our age made the same decision you did, where they were just like, okay, well, Facebook's the most awkward to try to build a community on, so let's just do the other ones.
So I'm just
less effort.
I'm just kind of over social media because all social media is really turned into is a place for people to anonymously hate on everyone else that have different ideology and beliefs, and i.e. religion, politics, anything.
And also for algorithms to serve you ads every 3 posts.
Or
less.
So I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion. I'm kind of fine with it, to be honest. My audience, my peeps, they're on YouTube. If I have to just really start utilizing the community tab, I will. But nobody wants to be spammed posts from the community tab either on YouTube. So,
it's funny switching to my like private alt on Twitter or posting to my close friends story on IG. It reminds me, like, you know, I miss when like social networks were just friends, or like my friends, and then it was just like you could just say whatever and, you know, and still joke. And so yeah, it's weird because that thought comes in my head every time I switch to it to post something or to see what's up with, like, you know, because obviously like my main Twitter is a bunch of tech stuff, and it's like if I want to see what my friends are tweeting, I have to completely switch to the alt account because I'm only, you know, it's just me, my friends are following on that, and like, you know what I mean, like, and so it's cool because then I switched to that and I was like,
probably
for
the better.
Yeah, I switched to that and I'm like, oh yeah, this is how it used to be, where it was like, oh, like Bryce is over here, and then, you know, this dude's over here, and like this guy's doing this, and like this guy's talking shit about this sports team, and it's hilarious, and blah blah blah. You know, like versus like, oh no, another freaking 4090 adapter, and then like why Meta's tanking the metaverse, and then Elon Musk is ruining Twitter and everything. You know what I mean? It's just like switch back, and it's like, oh, picture of my friend's dog.
So some people haven't been bumped off the top 8, and it really shows.
I'm gonna give you an idea of why I'm perfectly fine with Twitter going down. Like, for instance, this far left. I don't know if it's far left. Far left 1026 says, don't seem to have changed with all the text gone. It's like, if he's referring to the Twitter engineers, it's like, you know, it's going to take time for it to burn to the ground. A house fire does not go, and then fall down.
Unless it's a Christmas tree.
Or, I mean, really, this is just a train that's...
But if you...
It's like the thing...
But have you looked at Twitter today? You found a 52 post long thread of the entire Fast and Furious movie posted in 2-minute increments. Why? Because there's no one moderating it anymore.
Content moderation
Twitter right now, because the majority of the people that have either resigned or have quit or have been fired are the moderators. And Twitter had a ridiculous amount, if not almost the entire amount of moderation of copyright and all that was humans.
Yeah.
Which is what we wanted YouTube to be doing all along. But there's no one checking it now. Twitter is quite literally the Wild West right now with the sheriff has been shot.
Yeah.
Is this how the internet falls? Like the start?
No,
this is just Twitter. Twitter's not
Well,
anywhere.
it starts with Twitter.
Yeah.
Trust me, nothing anyone says on Twitter should be cared about or taken more than a grain of salt, including what I tweet.
Yeah.
In fact, yesterday I tweeted that I was like, this is whatever. I'm going to go back to Facebook. I'm thinking about going back to Facebook. It was tongue in cheek. The amount of people that lost their shit thinking I was actually going to go back to Facebook. I'll never go back to Facebook. I'll never talk to you again. It's like,
okay, cool.
If Twitter goes down, we're not going to talk either. So, what do you want from me?
Catch me at carrier pigeon.
No, everyone keeps talking about, but everyone keeps talking about mastodon. I'm like, what the hell is a mastodon other than like a prehistoric creature? Because it's like, I don't know. It's just, is it whatever other straw people are grasping at, hoping it'll be better than the status quo?
How quickly will because like OnlyFans type stuff usually just makes a play on words on some other social media that's already existing. You already know where I'm going with this with Mastodon, but how long until that OnlyFans pops up?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
Mastodon, where you debate people. Wait, what?
Is that what it says?
No.
Oh, I was like, wow, that is cheeky and awesome.
You're a Mastodon debater. Mastodon debater.
But you know what though? As long as you have social media, you're not the three major topics that are quick to cause fights:
politics, religion,
sports. Those three topics are very fast.
I was going to say
here's the thing.
Rights, but
here's the thing.
Politics.
Like I can mention like this AMD blah blah blah. And people are like, oh, whatever, Intel blah blah blah. You know, AMD sucks. Or I'll post an Intel thing, or I'll post an Nvidia thing. And the opposite team is always like, oh, whatever, that sucks. I post, I'm at a Kings game, go Kings go. Oh my God.
Yeah. I have one of my best friends. You know him. You met him, the dude that you met when we were hanging out with the drones and stuff. But dude, yeah, I have him muted on Twitter because his Twitter he uses it mostly as like a sports outlet. And like the amount of crap that ends up on my timeline, because I was like, dude, I love you, but I have to mute your Twitter. He's like, no, it totally makes sense, dude. I'm always fighting people. But like for him, it's part of the fun of it. And so he does it on purpose.
Sports. But here's the thing. When it comes to politics, it's hard to tell when someone's trolling someone's politics or truly believes the shit they're serving.
Yeah.
So you just kind of take that with a grain of salt. Oh, whatever. Politics really is about information and being informed. And the problem is most people are not informed, and their biggest source of information comes from taglines or headlines, which are always sensationalized. Right. But when it comes to sports, to be a good sports fan, you have to smack talk. Yeah. You have to. It's obligatory.
And I think honestly, like part of the problem,
just like Edmonton the other night. What the hell, guys? I mean, we were practically asleep that match. Y'all tried to beat up our 400-year-old Edler because he bumped into McDavid's knee, and he 2 minutes in the box. Actually, 4 minutes in the box. McDavid hasn't done that more than 5 times in his entire career, and y'all lost because of it. So maybe you guys need to get McDavid on a short leash.
Yeah.
See, shit like that, right?
Sports.
So right now, somebody in chat who's an Edmonton fan, which, to be honest, no one in the NHL cares about their opinion, is probably going off the rails right now. Do you see what I'm doing? This is what you have to do as a sports fan. But when people do that with politics, it almost seems like you have to absolutely either be trolling or just you've drank too much Kool-Aid.
I was texting this chick that I know in Edmonton saying, I'm not responsible for what Jay's saying right now on the show.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with people who live in Edmonton. We have a friend that lives in Edmonton.
Yeah.
I feel
like everyone that's in Edmonton.
It's just the Oiler fans.
Yeah.
Remember when we were playing the other day? You were like, Oilers are great, or whatever. I was like, oh, that says Oilers are great, and that means we're a hockey fan, and they're terrible. And then we beat them really bad on Rocket League on purpose. Remember?
yeah.
I was like, no, I was like, it says Oilers are great. I'm like, let's kick his ass.
Oilers, Roger 12.
Roger 8.
Roger 8, yeah.
No, it says Oilers are great, and you were like, oh.
No, but yeah, I was trying to remember. I just remembered what I was gonna say was I feel like the problem with politics discourse right now is that it
wasn't Draisaitl. Draisaitl got a penalty, but McDavid had 2, so. And he only got 1 shot on goal, so McDavid sucks.
Because you said religion, sports, and politics, right?
Religion, sports, and politics
are becoming sports.
Yeah.
The way that the discourse is happening
it's true.
is like that. And that's like...
But you know why? It's because there's rules and regulations in sports.
Right.
And so there's ideology and thoughts about how those rules should be governed, and that's where the politics come in.
But I mean, like, it's like the fanaticism, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is kind of like, I think it's a little bit... what is it? How do I say this? Like it's lessening the amount of rational thought that is being put out there, because emotional thought is taking over. And it's just like, you can't just say things when it involves like things like laws.
But the thing is, like,
it's not just...
that's what I say. It's like getting riled up over sports that doesn't affect your livelihood or your life or your way of life.
Right.
Politics absolutely can.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, I think when people get really riled up and are like, this is destroying the country, what side you're talking about, it's a slow change that takes place. Yeah. It's our kids that's going to see the effects of what's happening today. So I don't get worked up over politics. I just go, you know what? I keep my head down, do my thing, and I have no control over any of this anyway.
I just joke that I think the dent in my forehead is from face palming so much.
You've showed me some of your friends' posts and some of your friends' relatives' posts. You've showed me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's my only reaction at this point. Is I just face palm. I don't ever,
But you know what? I find it incredibly liberating to remove yourself from being emotionally charged with any of those 3 topics.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for me. I was in my 20s. Screaming and yelling like, blah, 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 is ruining the world, And then why aren't you listening? Why don't you get it?
It's funny. I was only like that with like tech stuff. I was
now I'm just like, someone said something. I'm like,
Yeah, cool. Sick.
It is incredibly liberating.
Put shades on, walk away. Like that's exactly
it is incredibly liberating to find yourself in a point in your life where you can literally be like, you know what? I don't care.
Because that's what my facepalm usually means. Is just like...
And what I mean by I don't care is not I don't care about the things that are happening in the world. I don't care about your thoughts on it. That's the part that is liberating.
And also the part that so many people misconstrue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they take it super personally, and then it's like, dude, no, it's not. I'm not saying.
So, Nick, what are your thoughts on current politics?
If the shoe fits, feel free to wear it, and I'm gonna do my thing over here. Just like
yeah, well, what size shoe? Is that a left foot or a right foot?
If it fits.
If the boot fits.
You're mocking me.
And we're back to Disney. Dang it. Stupid mouse.
Thanks, Phil. You brought us full circle.
It was funny when, what was it? The tour guide took you guys in to get super little mini tiny J some food. And you guys were in the line forever, right? And I was like, I was getting myself coffee. Oh, yeah.
And then she wanted breakfast.
Yeah.
So.
And then we were like, yo, they're in the line forever. And then we were like, can you do anything with it? He's like, unfortunately, no, not really. Not the food line.
And then later, I literally got him to go get it for us.
Well, because
Philip was cool.
He can't do anything about the lines.
No. But I literally, I took the company. I took you guys, right, and some friends to a VIP Disney tour, and it's just, I wanted you guys to experience that because I had already experienced it. That was neat. So I was like, let's reward all the hard work by bringing you guys to Disney. Company's paying for it. VIP tour, which is fun.
Let me just say, I don't think we spent longer than 20 minutes in a single line, not counting the ones that are broken down, obviously. But yeah, like genuinely, that was insane.
Well, and some of the lines some of the lines that actually were a little bit long on the lightning lane. Yeah. Remember they took us in the super secret entrance,
or just the rear entrance. But yeah, like straight up, just come into the exit, and then we'll just put you right onto a car, and it's like what? I didn't know you could just like admin rights the park.
But remember when we were leaving after we got our lunch with like the burgers and stuff, and I was like, so I don't know if this is like super bougie to ask, but is there any way like we'd be able through you to have coffee just like appear? And he was like, yes.
I was making the joke that because you guys were taking so long on that first line. I was like, the only company that Disney can't F with is
It's
Starbucks. Yeah, I was like, that's the only person the mouse answers to is Mr. Starbucks. And it's like everything else. It's like, no, you're in Mickey's world right
House
now,
of
man.
Mickey.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was kind of funny because what he ended up doing technically was he ended up calling his backup and had them go get in line for him, and then he went and met
I
them.
remember the freaking Mickey Secret Service heard like one of our friends talking about the what the secret was to controlling the little R2D2
Oh, yeah.
droid.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then they pulled our tour. They pulled Philip aside. And
They called him.
Yeah, they called him. They're like, "Yo, you gotta shut your guests up."
I told him, I was like,
Came back.
Phil, I was like, because you're Phil and he was Philip. I was
Yeah.
Philip.
He
I said, to
gets the
be
fancy
fair,
name 'cause he's
I said, to be
fancier.
fair, he was the most conspicuous looking tourist there's ever been.
Oh yeah, like the cast member that was.
Yeah,
controlling
because he
the
wasn't
droid,
dressed
yeah.
like a cast member. He was trying to look sort of nonchalant in the back.
No, I thought he was dressed Star Warsy because he looked
No,
like
he had
lived
shorts. He was wearing shorts. He had a weird front
There.
apron,
Is
and he had like
it illegal? Is shorts illegal in Star
Oh,
Wars?
it was
Chat.
undercover. I'm like, who?
Yes, he was undercover, and he was leaning against a trash can, but he was just wearing regular old clothes, and he had like a baseball hat, and he was not dressed like.
Oh, he wasn't the dude next to the droid. I thought it was the.
No,
I thought
he
it
was in the
dude next
back,
to
leaning on the
Okay.
trash can, like his hands were in
Well,
like
then
that
clearly
apron.
it worked on me because I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I didn't notice him either.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, AJ noticed it.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
right after,
I know he
and
said
then,
that it
so
looked like
here's
he was-
here's the irony. Here's the irony. I love you, Philip. Not you, Philip. The tour guide, Philip.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
You're all right. But AJ was like, yeah. So the guy right there is the one controlling it. I'm like, AJ, could you just let there be some magic? And then right then Philip's like, hey, that guy over there is the one. I'm like, oh god. So anyway.
Yeah, because he's also he also likes to like
No, because he knows
knows
my
we
channel.
know, yeah.
He knows my channel. He knows I love the why and the how of stuff.
especially that we knows that we're into super production stuff like that.
But it was I knew that he had seen it because he had the guy was dressed with shorts, like regular sneakers. He had like a t-shirt on, a old ball hat. He had like a weird front apron thing which had the controllers in there. So you could see his hands in there. You could see the
Why didn't they just use a fanny pack? Because that would make sense.
so you could see him like working the controls, right?
Yeah.
It's across the walkway from us, like good ways, like maybe a good 20 feet. And then I think he saw Philip like lean to me and kind of look at him because I saw him go like to the tour guide.
Yeah.
And then they started moving. That's when they started walking away.
Oh yeah.
We didn't even get over to the blue milk before his phone was like "Ding." So that means they literally like
Yeah.
somehow saw his name tag or knew who he was already and literally were like, hey, knock it off.
But I think I think
And he was like, I got in trouble.
Yeah. I think personally though, it was probably because we were so close to the kids, and it's like that's DEFCON 1 for Disney.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do not.
Don't
It's
bring
not
them
like
in.
no,
whatever you
it's
want.
not like we were in the group of people go, hey kid, you see that guy right there? That's not really R2.
But that is how the Disney Secret Service acted, though. It was pretty great.
I was really impressed on how quickly it got like through that chain.
back
to
seriously,
him.
that was insane.
Yeah, and he was like,
And
yeah.
scary,
He was like,
but
yeah, I got in
insane.
trouble. I was like, Philip, dude, he was like the worst. He was like the hello fellow
Yeah.
kids meme. He was so stood out.
That is a IRL 3D ping system in effect, right there. Just
Meanwhile, me and freaking Nick are still actually looking at the droid, like, cool.
yeah,
No,
like,
the
dude.
two workers next to it.
Yeah.
He was like 10 feet behind, leaning against a trash can.
Oh, okay. So he was still in the like the shop area.
No, he was just outside of it.
Oh, okay. Right at the exit.
Yeah,
Okay. That
right
makes
where the little planter was with the plants.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
back
yeah.
there. There was a trash can, and he was leaning against it.
sense. Dude, that's smart. But
Yeah.
still, that's so funny that literally Disney Secret Service was just like,
He got in trouble.
yeah, we have a code 76 over here.
2319.
2019.
Imagine just AJ gets half the sentence out, just Mickey Mouse tackles it.
It was just the timing was perfect because I literally told AJ, I was like, "Can you just let there be some magic?"
Yeah.
And then the tour guide,
then
"Hey, you see that guy right there?
And then apparently, you're supposed to. In fact, you're obligated to let there be some magic.
What
That's what
I know. I don't think our guide had heard AJ say that. Otherwise, I would have been like, "Dude, but they already knew." You know. Anyway,
it's
let's
so
go and move to
funny.
the FTFA, which is from the freaking audience, where we answer your questions, fun stuff, not like Jay, what's the best upgrade? I see those all the time. I just delete those. I'm sorry,
4090.
guys.
And a 300 watt power supply.
300 watt?
Yeah.
My
It
default
won't even boot.
my default
I wanna
answer is
see it catch
the one you
fire.
could afford, but
Oh, you know what we should do?
That is always the
You know what we should
best answer,
test?
though.
We should test taking an 8-pin PCI Express, a single one, to one of those like third-party splitters and split the 2 to a 4, and then go from the 4 back to the 12-pin to a 4090
Hey, that-
on a 500 watt power supply.
that sounds great. But we gotta get you a fire suit before that.
A fire suit? No, screw that. I need a fire suit.
I have a fire suit. I was wearing a racing suit.
Jay can just make one out of tape like the shoes, and then it'll be hilarious.
Is it flammable tape?
It's supposed to be foil.
Gaff tape is like literally cloth. It'll just
Imagine that though. A single 8-pin off a 500 watt
Yes,
to
put
a
the 4
double splitter to another
that.
double splitter to the 4-pin adapter back to the 12 volt.
Yes, please. We got to do that. We definitely got to do that.
Jeez. Yeah, I have this. We do it.
And then we got to find like the crappiest 8-pin cable, like the thinnest gauge wire or something.
Yeah, what the graphics card is going to get sacrificed for that anyway. Also, too, before we get into the FTFA, I did say a few shows back that if you guys wanted me to do this video where I basically go use part shopping on eBay and kind of take you guys along for the ride. For the record, I have done it.
He done did it.
I have bought the stuff and it has started arriving, and you all will see the video on that. And there will be a whole breakdown of why I chose the parts, which parts I chose, how I determined which used parts were maybe safer to buy than others. I think that'll be a good one, especially this time of year.
I'm excited. It's gonna be the Jay gets back in touch with.
For the record, it's a pretty solid computer. You know the specs already.
Yeah,
It's a pretty solid computer that with shipping and tax, because there is tax, because a lot of it came from California, because that's one of the things I talk about. $600.
What?
$600. It actually was like just over $5, but then the tax and shipping is what brought it up to $6. But yeah, I think it'll be a good build and a good video, as long as it all works. And if it doesn't, then it kind of proves the point that you take a risk when you buy used. Anyways,
my friend that I have muted texted me right now, and he's just cracking up. He was like, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, "Yep."
Is that the Edmonton person? Or?
No. The one that like his Twitter's mostly sports, so then I just see him fighting everyone constantly. Yeah.
That's okay. I don't pay attention to what IKEA says on Twitter because I want to keep liking the guy. I read his tweets once. I'm like, oh. I was like, oh. I'll just interact with him on Discord
I still gotta bring in triangle spam for you to tag a picture of him in.
But here's what I've identified about IKEA's Twitter. He is the antagonizer, like I said. He loves antagonizing.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
especially even like when I watch
if that's the game he wants to play, sure. I just can't do that with the level of followers that I have because
I mean, you could. But...
I could, but I'd be burning this channel down faster than Elon's burning down Twitter.
It's time to make a Smurf
account,
dude.
I made the joke earlier. I was like, dude, I think Elon might beat Noah Katz's bankruptcy percent record, dude.
All right. So Kyle asks, why do you think people care so much about the range on EVs compared to petrol vehicles? When the charging network is more advanced, will people care as much?
Because it doesn't take an hour and a half to fill up a gas tank, or 45 minutes if it's a supercharger.
This question proves people that are in the ideology of all EV have... Well, I guess if they've never run out of gas, that's great. But this tells me they're not thinking outside the box of saying, look, wasn't it?
Well, they're probably...
No, Linus's cameraman. What's his name? I forgot.
Which one?
Yeah, he has so many people.
Brandon.
Okay, yeah.
He just ran out of gas in his Model X on the side of the road. You guys saw that on Twitter, right? On Twitter.
Oh, battery.
Or did I say gas?
Yeah.
He ran out of the electrical gas.
He ran out.
He literally was on the side of the road, and his tweet was something along the lines of like, when your car says you have 12 kilometers of range left, and the nearest gas or charging station 16 kilometers, don't test it. And he's on the side of the road with his flashes on, and it's like literally
so
out
funny.
of. So what do you do in that situation? So you had to be towed.
Yeah, you get towed.
But
Guess what? You run out of gas in a petrol car. AAA is going to charge a fortune, but they can bring you 5 gallons of gas on the side of the road.
Friends, and then they bring you.
And you're off and running again. Yeah. And that's not the fact that he now has to wait for a tow to pick up his EV, take it to the nearest charging station, drop it off somehow. Hopefully he can line it up and get it right into the charging station, or he's going to have to help you push or something, and then wait however long it takes to get the charge he needs to get back home.
Yeah.
Now, if a supercharger, obviously with Tesla, it wouldn't be that long.
Yeah, maybe like 10 minutes, 20 minutes or something. But yeah.
But I like the fact that I can pull up to a gas station and inside of 10 minutes have full range again.
That is one of my like concerns, because obviously I've been looking into like switching to an EV for my only car, and the big thing is charging, because since I live in an apartment, which a lot of these EV people seem to forget that people still live in apartments.
It's one of the reasons why I also told Brian, don't get an EV, because he lives in a skyrise in Long Beach, and there's no chargers sitting there at his parking structure. His wife has access to chargers at like the school she works at and stuff, and there's other chargers, but it's like, who wants to get in their car, go and park at a charger to charge it up while you're just sitting there looking at your phone or whatever, and then just to drive it back home again? But I told him, I said, my personal thought on this is, unless you have your own garage with a 240 volt charger.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like step one of buying an EV, own a house.
Have
realistically own a house, which sucks, because obviously I'm nowhere near in a position to do that. But like, yeah,
you own a house. It's like, oh snap.
I mean, hey, that is like the flex for your 30s is like, dude, my friends own 2, and I'm like, dang, she's smart.
Do you know anyone that has pure like only an EV?
Yes, I do. They actually live in San Francisco. But
I have to imagine. Well, okay.
Okay,
If they live
outside
are they
San
in
Francisco.
San Francisco, like downtown,
no,
or
outside of it.
okay? So they probably are using their car more than somebody that lives in downtown.
Yes, because they visit us when they go to their house in Arizona, and they plan their chargers along the way.
Okay, already the person lives in San Francisco, which is the most expensive city to live in the state.
Yeah.
And they have another house in Arizona, so your friend's opinion is null and void. They're too rich.
Yeah, like that's the
Well,
thing.
it's my mom's friend, but
That's the thing.
Oh, now it's my mom's friend.
sorry.
I mean, yeah, no.
And by the way, I was being
should've-
facetious. Obviously, their opinion matters, but yeah.
That is the problem with EVs, though, is that when people talk about infrastructure, it's not just chargers. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, okay, I could get one today and then literally only supercharge it at the mall. That's like 10 minutes away.
Have you looked at?
But like, dude, that's such a change in like planning your week.
Have you looked at the old CNC building and see how it's a Tesla service station now?
Yeah.
Have you seen how many cars and parts are in there?
Actually, yeah, I did. I on the way to
Dude.
the gym one week, it was empty. So
There's
they were still
like
moving in, and
50 bays in there,
Yeah.
if not more.
and there's a lot of cars. All
And
I
there's
saw
cars
was-
outside waiting to get in.
Dang.
I was like, oh, if there was ever a reason why I never want to own a Tesla specifically, it's that. I've already said this. I think I said it. Maybe I haven't said it since. I'm going to be doing an EV video. I'm actually been talking with some folks that we met at Polestar, and I'm really interested in Polestar, the P2. High performance, looks great, really good range, but I'm looking at it as a car guy perspective of it'll be the first EV I've ever gotten hands-on with, and I'll be more about the interactive parts of the car. Because for me, I don't want to have a car channel that's like, here's how it drives. I don't care about that. I want to know about the interactive part of the car. What's the lifestyle
experience of it, right? Yeah.
What does the car's life bring to your lifestyle, right?
Just like, what is it living with this car? Because you don't just buy a car for a day. You know what I mean? You're buying it, and then it becomes a part of your life for that point.
But I
forever.
asked him, I said, on a full charge and average driving, what kind of range can I get? He's like, 400. I'm like, what?
That's a gas car.
Dang.
Yeah. But
That's about my hybrids range.
Polestar actually is the EV brand that has my attention the most right now. So, but I think you guys should look forward to that coming on the channel. But I mean, that's the reason why. And I feel like, honestly, no shade against Kyle, but I feel like to ask that question means he's fully disconnected from the reality of what it's like owning a car. Do they have a car?
Yeah.
Because that clearly they never run out of gas.
Because exactly, that is my first step. Is just I gotta wait till I get a house. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just gonna like.
Otherwise, you're going to be spending parts of your day, every other day at least, sitting at some charger,
Not
twiddling
every
your
other day.
thumbs. Huh?
I mean, I fill up my hybrid about every 3 weeks or so, and that's a 400-mile tank, 10 gallons of 40 miles a gallon. So
Yeah, but we would have to really see what the short distance trips drains look like on the battery versus your hybrid.
it's probably more efficient for a battery than a gas engine car because you don't have to warm it up. Like the engine doesn't have to take time to warm up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm curious as to which.
Because your MPG is so much worse.
No, in terms of EV efficiency, I'm curious if
Oh, yeah.
if like a gas engine or ICE, you're cruising on the highway, it's low RPM, low load, that's best gas mileage. Whereas stop and go, does stop and go on an EV drain the battery faster, and by how much?
I'd say yes, just because I only experienced the Tesla Model X, I believe, at the wedding up north, and
That the gull wing doors.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the next.
But it's like they didn't charge it before coming to the venue.
And they ran out, right?
Well, they were getting close to running out. They didn't think about doing a supercharger before going back to the home where we couldn't charge it. But whenever it's like, let's get to the home faster, but you can see the range just like
Well,
dropping.
yeah, of
yeah.
course. You're
And it's like,
flooring it.
yeah, it's like, no, don't floor it. Just
Yeah,
Let me ask you
oh
this:
my God.
they were that low on charge on the
Yeah.
event. So how much time did it take them to get it charged back up? Like, well, what happened?
they trickle charged it at like the house at the venue.
Dude,
Trickle
from
charge like a
from
120 or 110?
I think so.
Dude, you'll get like 10 miles for
But
the night.
overnight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild. So that whole situation that they managed to get back home the next day, but it was just like you really should have just charged it and just instead of like booking it up from down here up there.
Warp Speedo makes a good point. He says EVs love stop and go. It's about the regen charging. Yep. I didn't even think about that. I mean, I have regen charging on my mild hybrids, but that doesn't mean anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know why the RS6 has mild hybrid.
Yeah, I think EVs are a lot simpler in that they're like drones in that you floor it, you can watch the battery gauge just go, you know what I mean? But they're also very efficient at doing light loads. Like, they don't lose any efficiency depending on the load. You know, they're always the same efficiency.
My personal opinion on EV ownership is that there's scaffolding steps that have to take place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Step one, have a house/garage that has your own charger.
Somehow access to a protected 240 volt.
A lot of newer apartment buildings, like there's some being built by us, have EV charging stations built in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
which makes sense.
The moment I move into one of those, then I'll start being able to.
And the worst case scenario is it might be kind of like when a community laundry, like all the dryers are taken.
Yeah.
Or their laundry is done, but they haven't taken their crap out.
But again, if
their charging is done, but they haven't moved their car, right?
It's like if I have to charge every 3 weeks, like I'm not gonna care.
So that's step one. You must have access to a charger at will.
Yeah.
Step two, in my opinion, if you're not in an apartment and you're in a house, you must have solar. And that's just about offsetting, because I have friends that have made the move to EVs for dailies, and they were like, man, my gas bill went down. Holy shit, did my electric bill go up? You know?
Right, because gasoline isn't tiered on usage, but electricity is. I didn't think about that until now.
Yeah.
Or just, set your car's timer, charge at night, obviously, when it's cheap.
And then that brings in the whole argument about, the additional drain on the power grid in terms of if everyone's a plug-in hybrid, right? So you're just taking gas costs and switching it with electricity. But I mean, it's a very complicated thing to talk about in terms of which is worse. Obviously, for the environment, EV's fine in terms of driving the vehicles, but battery production is also very pollutant. So
lots of cobalt.
Yeah. And there's only a certain amount of it on the planet.
And then the mines and stuff. A lot of human rights stuff going on with the batteries and stuff that I don't want to get into.
So this should be interesting. Joe says, what is your advice for starting weight loss and getting healthy without giving up? As a fellow big and tall person, I always get the first week or two, but then shoot too far working out at first and end up stopping.
Can't outrun a bad diet.
There's so many cliches you could use here. Abs are made in the kitchen, that sort of thing. But they're true.
Those cliches, are true from both of our experiences, right? I would always get frustrated without changing my diet, trying to work out enough calories to actually offset and get into a deficit. And it's like, dude, it's depressing. I'll walk a mile and then be like, cool, that was literally a bite of a Snickers bar. And then when you think about it that way, then it just gets more depressing. And then your chances of failing or dropping.
Well, in terms of the science behind it too, though, you can't just say the calories you burn on that 1 mile is offset by the bite of a Snickers bar, because you continue burning past that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, there's basal metabolic rate, which is you're always idling. Different. If you're not idling, you have a problem. And dude, my
metabolic rate is probably your entire
my calorie intake a day is 14 to 1500 calories. So yeah, you're
3,800.
Yeah. Wait, that's your BMR or
3,800? And I have been losing weight eating 3,000.
I'm so jealous. I want to burn twice my calories breathing.
I'm a Mack truck versus you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm literally my car. It's my car versus your Ram in people form, basically. Yeah.
Do this with your arms. I spent more energy doing that right now than you did. Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Because my arms are 22 pounds.
And that was that actually reminds me of. Remember, I told you about this where I was.
It reminds me of.
I've been working with Jay for 5 years now. I kept talking to her.
Stupid's contagious.
Yeah.
Did you say stupid's contagious?
Spoonerism.
Oh, they said stupid's contagious. I'm like, I'm gonna pull it, Elon. You're fired.
They call him back.
Yeah.
I don't know how to work the 3D printer. That'd be full Elon. No, I was gonna say it reminded me of how that the calorie difference that we're talking about right now. That was another thing that was hard for me to get over. It was seeing my friends during workouts and stuff, seeing they burned 900, 1,000 calories. I was like, man, I wish I could.
Your
burn 1,000
needs
calories.
are so much less.
Exactly, and it's no.
If you burn 400, 450, you burn the same as them.
Yeah, exactly. I've put in as much effort as them, basically.
So it's funny because every time we've talked about the health subject, I've seen a lot of comments are like, "But Jay, you're still fat. What advice do you have to give?" It's I used to be 494 pounds. Okay, I know a thing or two about losing some weight. I actually started thinking about this the other day, though. If you watch my videos, you can. I go like this a lot, and I'm currently on a downtrend.
Here, I'm on an uptrend right now.
I'm down almost 30 pounds right now since the beginning of summer.
Yeah,
but I haven't changed much. Really, what I quit this time around was dairy and very low carb, and I'm very specific and intentional about where those source of carbs come from. Right. And do you know what I figured out? Remember those really bad abdominal pains I was having that was making me lay down on the couch? Gluten allergy. Never even knew I had it.
Oh, that makes... Dude.
Never even knew I had it until I cut it out entirely. So that's why I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So cutting out the gluten also cut down total inflammation in my body, which makes me feel better, which makes me more active and stay more active. But he's asking me specifically how to stick with it. You have to find activities and food that you like and enjoy.
And
because
if anything, like don't... Yeah, like a lot of people make the mistake of like how you were talking about cut out this, and they go so ham on like the change that they're making to the lifestyle, because you have to think about it as a long-term change. You can't just think about it, I'm going to do this for 90 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because, so that's why right now I'm losing weight at a much slower rate than I have been.
Right.
But that's because I've only made certain heading changes in my habits right now that are sustainable.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for, is just make sure it's sustainable. You know, if it just means like, instead of like, I would get 2 Big Macs and then 2 10-piece nuggets and then 2 large fries. And it's like, maybe start getting 1.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like it might sound...
Still eat the stuff that's tasty, but eat less of it.
It might sound kind of counterproductive, but like, look, my wife and I've had this conversation recently because we're both, for the first time, we've been together almost 23 years. And for the first time ever, we are both on the same wavelength.
Oh, do you guys always do this with the weights?
One of us is doing good and the other one's doing bad, and then it flops, right?
Yeah. And that's quite frustrating. Because,
but for the first time ever in our relationship, we are on the same wavelength. And so we can kind of feed off of each other. But
yeah, because I don't know if the viewers may not notice, but yeah, when Jay starts losing weight, I start losing weight, because it's just that osmosis of being there, seeing somebody make those same choices, and it's like, okay, fine, maybe I shouldn't eat chips. Like I only ate half my sandwich today because I saw Jay friggin' talking about his salad with his 30,000 forks that he wanted or whatever.
Oh, did you actually have bread with yours today?
Yeah, I got a sandwich, but I
wish I had bread, but I'm like, you know what?
Half of one in the fridge.
No, because
trying to sabotage his. Oops.
No, like literally, so. First of all, a gluten allergy is my mom has a really bad gluten allergy, but she didn't really uncover it. And we're going to probably run a few minutes over today. I'm perfectly fine with that. But my mom didn't uncover a really strong gluten allergy until like her late 60s. And she spent years. I remember for years her going like, she's like, this bad gas pain, like really bad, like under the rib cage type of, and you guys have seen.
You literally said that exact same thing. Yeah.
No, you guys have seen me be there perfectly fine. Yeah. And then suddenly I'm sweating profusely. I can't stand upright. I can't even inhale because it hurts so bad. Yeah. And I'm laying down on the couch in the office going, okay, this will pass eventually.
I don't remember what video it was, but you finished the video like literally minutes before one. And then I was like, wow, I'm glad that didn't happen during filming, because that would have been super
But the thing is, that started happening more and more frequently.
Yeah.
And I started thinking something was wrong with my surgery. And so I was really getting worried.
It would have been funny if we could like pull the data somehow and then just be like, oh, cool, it's every day we got sandwiches.
But it's not.
It like lines up perfectly with the bread and the rice.
But that's the thing, is I was probably having gluten every meal.
Oh, so you wouldn't be able to tell.
So it wasn't until a couple months back where I went, okay, you know what? That's it. I'm just gonna kind of follow the routine my wife is doing. She's cut out almost all dairy. If I have any dairy now, it comes from maybe a little bit of white cheese on something. Like my salad had some white cheese on it, right? Yeah. No yellow cheese, no milk, no cream, none of that stuff, right?
Honestly, hot topic, but dairy is overrated. You should know at this point, because
we quit the dairy for the casein, and casein is another hormone that makes you retain fat and inflammation.
Yeah.
So that's why we stopped with the dairy. But it wasn't until I like stopped bread, and I was like, I feel great, and I was like, and then one time I was like, I'm gonna give myself a cheat meal, and I had a sandwich, and I was like, it's back, and I was like, wait a minute.
That was the moment. Yeah. Huh.
I was like, so I feel like what was happening is if you're eating things that your body doesn't agree with long enough and you just muscle through it, your body stops giving you that.
The check engine light for it.
Yeah. It stops giving you that negative feedback. It just kind of deals with it. Right.
Yeah. It's like, that's why like Europeans usually don't have lactose intolerance, because it's so much a part of their diet. Like dairy is so much a part of their diet that. Like,
but remember,
whereas Asians, you know what I mean? Like, it's not as much a part.
But the biggest change this time around that had led to the slow, sustainable weight loss without me feeling like I'm depriving myself is the fact that I still have my coffee in the morning. I still have my Starbucks, but I have oat milk with it. I don't put all the sugars in it. I have, like, I think, like with the Christmas stuff, I really like the Christmas drinks. I just have the 2 pumps of the.
Dude, yeah, your old like Starbucks order was probably like
Very
3/4
Valley girl.
No, 3/4 of my entire daily calorie intake. Honestly, like
Yeah, they're
I'm
probably like
joking.
600 calorie drinks.
Yeah, at least.
But now it's just oat milk, espresso, and maybe 2 squirts of something.
So
but
right down to like 1 to 200.
yeah, it's like
Maybe
100 and
300
something.
because it's a big one, but
Well, their
not more
their
than
oat
that.
milk is actually doesn't have as much sugars and stuff in it as you would think. But anyway, my point is like I can still enjoy those, and I got to the point where I really enjoyed. Hey, I like the way my coffee drinks with just oatmeal and espresso and no sugar.
Yeah.
Tastes great. No whipped cream, none of that crap. So little course corrections like that.
Yeah, I used to like, I always loved bacon cheeseburgers, but then I was like, hey, what if I get it with a turkey patty, but keep the bacon? Because the bacon is fun.
Oh,
still.
that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah,
You mentioned
like-
the burger.
Yeah, right. Like make small changes where you can still eat things that make you happy, but like you don't so you don't have to cut them out completely, but make them slightly healthier.
But when we
you
were
can and
talking
where you
about
can.
sustainable and course corrections and all that, my wife and I were not joking the other day. We were just sort of reminiscing, like the Big J, that one that I showed the photo of. It was me. You remember this photo? I'll show you. But anyway,
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, you can just Google it
I was like,
too.
what would Big J eat back then? And I was like, I would go to Jack in the Box.
remember you
That
told-
J.
Yeah.
That's a big boy right there. You remember that guy?
It's sad. Okay, it's sad, but I know you can Google it because I like to tell your weight loss
yeah.
story to friends, and all I search was JayzTwoCents fat, and
That's
then
a
it's
lot.
the first picture that pops up. But it makes sense because you were fat.
Well, that's going to be a trending post now. Anyway, so
It's all Twitter
back then,
trending.
I would go to like my lunch. I worked on the road. I drove around a lot for work because I was a field auditor for LADWP. And so I would go to Jack in the Box and I would get a double bacon ultimate cheeseburger, extra mayo, because I love their mayo. It kind of had that ranchy onion flavor to it.
Yeah, super creamy.
Their large curly fries. I would get an extra large Dr. Pepper, and I would get 2 tacos on the side, or sometimes 4 tacos. That was my lunch.
That's like, and see, that's the crazy thing because to me, that's
And you know what?
That's one of my cheat meals.
And do you know
but
what? I would still be hungry after that.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Not even kidding. And I remember the reason why we had this conversation is the other day. I took my daughter to.
That sounds so good right now, though.
I took my daughter.
I might get exactly that later.
No, don't. That's a bad influence right there. No, because then you're gonna blame me for even bringing it up.
I know.
But I took my daughter to Anaheim for a thing she wanted to attend, and then she was hungry, so the only thing to eat nearby was a Jack in the Box, and that's where I was like, oh man. So she got like a burger or whatever, and I got one of their like Southwestern salads, which was really good, and I love. How much salads do I
actually
eat?
really like Jack in
You
the
see me
Box.
eat salads like almost every meal now, huh?
Yeah.
I love salads. Or if I'm not feeling salad, I'll just get like a freaking bowl of chicken from like Panda and veggies, like not even rice.
Honestly, the teriyaki bowl at Jack in the Box sometimes is not like completely terrible. It's better than gas station stuff, which
So-
is a low bar. But anyway, sorry.
So trying to get back to what I was saying 10 minutes ago, because I keep derailing myself, is if you want to start making changes that are sustainable, maybe get that meal, but drop the tacos.
Yeah.
And then over time, go from curly fries to regular fries.
Or instead of fries, get tacos. Or instead of tacos, get fries.
Reduce.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then if you're going from large fries, go to a medium fry. Instead of getting a double ultimate, maybe try a single ultimate. And then from there, maybe try the chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
So you have to. It's
Gotta
not
wean it
about
off.
because here's the thing: if you're used to that,
Exactly, yeah.
if you're used to that kind of diet, and you just try and cold turkey go like I'm going no carb, low fat, you are guaranteed to fail
Yep.
because your body will crave like mad.
And then when you crave, you binge like hard, and then you bounce
You
back.
put all those calories you cut the last month out back in within a couple days.
I know because that's what I've been doing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just this is the realest fitness talk you can hear from some people because we're living through it right now actively. You know what I mean? You're literally on the way down. I was on the way up, and then I'm getting back into the gym
But-
and like my fitness routine and everything.
You
But
talk
yeah.
about down and up. So I've from my biggest till now, I am down 240 pounds. But I kind of added up over because I've really documented a lot of my weight loss on online. And since then, I've probably lost 500 plus pounds since I lost that weight.
Right.
Because I continue to gain back 40 and lose it again.
Yeah.
Or gain back 35 and lose it again. So I was adding up all the weight I've ever lost after gaining it back.
Right.
And this time around, I went, I'm 41. It's getting harder every time. And I'm so done with I have to catch myself and reverse because that becomes harder every time.
Yeah.
But realistically, abs are made in the kitchen, literally. The gym does nothing but get you fit. Gym is about your physical ability to do something. It's not about losing weight.
Yeah, I like thinking of the gym as a place where I build my body and then like literally bodybuilding, right?
Your food determines your size.
Yeah.
The gym determines your shape.
Yeah, you lose in the kitchen, you build at the gym. That's
we've all seen out of shape skinny people.
Yeah.
And we've all seen
little
very active and very capable fat people. Okay? So it's like you have to experiment with it and you have to find something that's sustainable. All right.
Jay's resting heart rate is like 20 BPM lower than mine.
It's some cams, dude.
Let me see. I'm curious.
This is right now.
My current heart rate. That's 7 minutes ago. I'm gonna let it do it right now.
I know mine's zero now. I'm gonna 75. I'm actually better than I thought it was. It was in like the
77.
80s. Oh, wow, you're stressed. It's because you're explaining.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm 77 as well.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Oh, my resting.
Yeah.
I was actively at 77. My resting's 59.
Yeah. C57. Got you beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, my resting was in the 80s a couple weeks ago because I was eating that bad. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Straight up. It's embarrassing slightly, but yeah.
No, that just means you took in a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Because you've taken a lot of sugar and you're not active, your heart rate goes up because it's metabolizing or trying to metabolize.
Plus, I got
sugar.
my asthma medication switched out.
So you're
that
adjusting.
helps. Yeah. Well, no, my body's like, I can breathe again. This is interesting. I don't have to pump blood because there's oxygen in the blood again. So, yeah,
all right.
59.
Last question is from Jacob. He says, as a father of a 3 and a 1.5-year-old and a husband, I struggle with playing games. I love playing games, but I feel guilty and I feel pressure from myself that I should be doing something productive. How do you balance home life and enjoying hobbies and gaming? I chose this one because I wanted to.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I wanted to highlight the I pressure myself. I should be doing something productive.
Yeah, I've seen that vibe from you before a lot, actually. If you're at home,
your time is important. Me time, time for yourself is important. You have to be okay with setting aside time for yourself, whether that be like last night, I chose to spend an hour or so doing some stuff to the car. I spent some time cleaning out the garage. It needed to be done, but I enjoy that sort of stuff. If gaming is that vice for you, whether it be model building, cycling, going for a walk, playing games, time is important. You can't feel, and I suffer from this too, but you can't feel guilty saying, doing something for myself means I'm not doing something for my family, therefore I'm not being a good family man or a father or whatever. It's also important that you recognize that your spouse should also have them time. So it's teamwork. You need to give the spouse some time away. You need some time away. At the same time, find things that you can do together with your kids or with family. Every single night, my youngest gets cuddle time. It may not seem like much, but every single night, it is routine for her to crawl in bed with us, lay there, we'll watch a TV episode of something. She loves to watch I Love Lucy with me. She loves to watch The Office with me. We'll do that. It's also very important that you reduce the idea of feeling like anytime. So we're talking about opportunity cost and you talk about productivity. If I spend time doing this, like right now I'm doing this stream, which means I'm not doing something else. And I could easily say, oh man, I could be doing something else with this hour and a half that's so much more beneficial.
Like filming a video.
Absolutely. And that's the reason. That's the reason why the show quit the first time.
Yeah.
Was because we went, this is costing us too much in terms of time.
Yeah.
But I feel like you need to just make sure that you understand the you time is important. That is part of mental health 101.
Yep.
But keep it under control. If you're gaming 8 hours a day, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because my me time back in the day, we talked about World of Warcraft, was 15 hours a day. It was bad. So bad. So in fact, when we're done with this stream, I'm running home. I'm changing. My wife and I are going on a date tonight. I told you we're going dueling pianos.
For some reason, my brain was like, I'm going home and I'm alone on World of Warcraft. That's what I thought you were going to say for a second. And I was like, wait, where's he going with it? Oh, yeah.
Never let them know your next move.
But he says, how do you balance home life and enjoying hobbies and gaming? Well, your kids, especially your 3-year-old, is maybe going to start getting old enough soon that you can start playing some basic games with. You know?
Is like having a regular streaming schedule, has that helped with the planning?
That was the entire reason my Twitch stream became a thing.
Right.
It's because I suffered from the exact thing he's talking about, which is like, oh man, I want to play games, but if I'm in that room because I have the game room,
right,
I feel guilty that I'm playing games and I'm not downstairs with the kids or whatever.
But then when you set like compartmentalize it and be like, okay, I'm starting here and I'm ending this time ish. you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's usually about 3.5 hours. It's
yeah.
it's 7 p.m. to about 10:30, sometimes 11. If we're having a really good time and we lose track of time, we'll make it to like 11.
Yeah.
Usually AJ's our catalyst of like, hey, I got to go to bed because he has to get up at like 4:30 in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it's just, but
so yeah,
I'm
maybe
also,
maybe schedule time for yourself, right? As that might be, that might help a lot.
So there's no question. So what can lead to the guilt? And you're like at work all day. Okay, I'm gonna go home today. I'm gonna play Warzone 2, whatever game is out. Okay, you get home, and then the wife is like, "Hey, you want to do something tonight?" You're like, "Oh, I wanted to play some games," and you start to feel bad. Even if the wife is like an understanding wife that's like, "Okay, no, it's fine. Go play some games." You're gonna hear, "Okay, fine, go play some games." You know,
that's what your ears are gonna perceive. Yeah, exactly.
And then you start feeling guilty, and then you're like, "Well, this isn't even fun. I don't even want to play games anymore." And then what do you have? No, but then what does it lead to? Resentment.
Yeah,
at least resentment, because you feel like you're getting the fake, okay, go ahead and play from your spouse. I've been with my wife 23 years. We know how to navigate all this now.
Because most people wouldn't communicate there.
So my wife knows most of the time on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 beyond, I'm streaming. Every now and then she'll kind of forget, like, hey, do you want to watch blah, blah, blah tonight? I'm like, it's Monday. Oh, yeah, so I forgot. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. There's no guilt or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also perfectly okay with sometimes going, I don't want to stream tonight.
Yeah.
I don't want to game tonight. You know, sometimes I just get on there and play guitar. So schedule it. It might. It's not spontaneous.
Yeah.
But if you know, hey, this hour and a half on these 2 days is my time, then you don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said,
but
he didn't say how much he's gaming, because that's the other piece of the puzzle that's very important.
Yeah.
You know, Jay says I should have me time,
but I mean,
Jay didn't say to game 10 hours a day.
Dude, he's a father of 3 though, so like, it's how much is he really gaming?
No, he's a father of a 3 and 1.5
a 3 and a 5-year-old.
So, but here the ages are important, because those are very active, very busy. Like the 1.5 probably still pooping themselves. The 3-year-old probably still every now and then pooping the pants. You know, maybe potty trained yet. I don't know. There's a lot happening there. Yeah. And if you're off playing games and you've got a wife that's now handling 2 kids that are close in age, where they're literally could be crapping everywhere and getting into things or whatever, the wife might feel resentment that you're playing games. So you need to communicate. Say, hey, if I can have this time, I would like you to take some time for yourself where I have the kids and you get to go lock yourself away and watch Lifetime TV or whatever it is you want to do. You
also,
know?
maybe suggestion, buy a Steam Deck so then you can just bring the game with you while you're watching the kids. I'm just saying that because genuinely in the subreddit, there's a lot of like people that are like, dude, like this is sick because I can just like have my baby next to me chilling and then I'm playing whatever story game that you want, you know, a game that you can pause at any time. But
it sounds to me like his significant other doesn't play games. Mine doesn't. So my wife and I have never in the 23 years that we've been together.
I
take that back. There was a little while there where she was kind of getting into Minecraft with us. And then I kind of stopped playing too, but she was enjoying it. And then we kind of like that just sort of fell apart because back then we weren't very good about scheduling time and stuff. But I saw some comments going by of people saying that that's what they do with their spouses and stuff. It works for them. Maybe find a hobby that you guys can share. I mean, having recreational time together is important. So there's a lot of things that can help with all that. And if this sounds like, well, Jay's got the perfect life. He's got a dream job and he's got all the cars and his wife is perfect. No, my wife and I had lots of problems and we actually went to marriage counseling and marriage classes and stuff to work through all this. And we came out the other side of it stronger. So we did that for a solid 1.5 years.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you telling me about that.
And it was huge. It was huge. So anyway. What's huge is the time this podcast went. Holy crap. Hour and 46 minutes.
Looks like we read the manual today.
We talked about a couple of topics. We'll save yours for next week.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, wait, there is not going to be one next week because it will be part of the Thanksgiving holiday. You all need to keep in mind that December will more than likely be a hiatus month for the show.
Wait, does that mean this is the last show?
Possibly. We'll just have to see how it goes.
Maybe we'll just throw a bonus one in there in the middle of December or something.
Maybe we'll just, it might just end up being random. Maybe the 2nd. No, wait, I can't go the 2nd. I'm not even going to be here. I'm going to be on vacation. So, because I'm going the 30th. Wow. We'll figure it out. I promise. We'll make it up to you guys. But
pineapple belongs on pizza.
Did you say pineapple on pizza?